Douluo, after reading my diary, they started cheating like crazy. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction, so please don't attempt real magic. The results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 201: Two Smart People. Who Liena jokingly said, the three idiots of land, sea, and air. How bizarre. The Grand Priest, Poseidon, and Tang Chen are clearly the three strongest individuals on the continent. Why would Su Chen call them the three idiots of land, sea, and air? Ling Yuan glanced at Liena and said with a smile, we'll find out soon. Su Chen always backs up his words with facts. Bibi Dong was also eagerly anticipating how these three idiots would behave. At the prince's mansion, Qian Renxue was stunned, nearly falling to the ground. Sacrifice. The ninth trial requires a sacrifice. No. I don't want the angel god. I absolutely don't want this angel god. In Qian Renxue's heart, Jin Douluo was her only family. From childhood on, he had given her all his love, and she would never let him sacrifice himself for her. After all, even a god could be pierced through the heart by Tang San's hidden weapon. What good would an angel god do? At Su Chen's house, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and the others were even more interested. Here they come, the three strongest men on the continent, land, sea, and air, are actually being called the three idiots by Su Chen. Now it's time to eat some melons, haha. Bosaxi's head must be buzzing right now, the three idiots, land, sea, and air, he. Su Chen always loves to criticize people. How could three such powerful men be called three idiots? Of course, although I call Bosaxi an old maid, this old maid is very beautiful. If you just look at her appearance, she is absolutely a rare beauty, and her temperament is truly unmatched by anyone. Not even Bibi Dong, the Pope of the Spirit Hall, can compare to her in terms of temperament. They first met on Sea God Island, and seeing Bosaxi was a lifelong mistake. This sentence basically predicts the fate of Jin Douluo and Tang Chen for the rest of their lives. One is depressed, the other is completely crazy. The main text begins below. Around the 2600th year of the Douluo calendar, the Spirit Hall dispatched 2,000 spirit masters to recruit the Sea God Island. Ultimately, they were defeated by Saxi, the ocean invincible wave. Fewer than 100 spirit masters returned alive, and 2 titled Douluo were also killed there. This incident infuriated Jin Douluo. He had never suffered such a loss before, so he summoned his friend Tang Chen and set out for Sea God Island to seek revenge. On Sea God Island, Jin Douluo and Tang Chen found Saxi, and a fierce battle ensued between the three of them. The battle lasted 3 days and 3 nights, but ultimately, Saxi, leveraging her geographical advantage, defeated both Jin Douluo and Tang Chen in turn. Masters cherish each other. After this battle, the three became friends. During their time together, Jin Douluo and Tang Hao both fell in love with this powerful woman, and together they pursued Saxi. Bosaxi chose Tang Chen over the other two, perhaps because she felt Tang Chen had greater talent. So, Bosaxi, ever so clever, made a promise to become a god. Actually, there were love triangles, too: Tang Hao, Tang Zio, Yin, Flender, Uzia Gang, and Liu Erlong. But Yin and Liu Erlong were the ones who directly stated it. Bosaxi, ever so clever, did this? She had already chosen Tang Chen, but she told Jin Douluo and the other man that she would accept the affections of whoever reached level 100. She thought this was a very tactful rejection of Jin Douluo and expressed her love for Tang Chen. As I mentioned earlier, Jin Douluo and Bosaxi were both temple deities. While powerful, they were no longer capable of becoming gods. Jin Douluo understood Bosaxi's intentions. But Tang Chen, equally clever, didn't understand Bosaxi's intentions at all. Believing them, he left Sea God Island with the words, I won't return until I become a god. I'm really dying of laughter. Who are you going to choose, Poseidon? Just say it clearly. What are you trying to say? When you meet someone as clever as Tang Chen, I ask you, Poseidon, are you angry? Note, being clever is the same as being a fool. On the sea, Poseidon was also in a state of panic. Ah! It's over, it's over. After going through the disaster of the diary today, I have lost all my face. Poseidon could easily imagine that the label of being clever would make the women who had copies of the diary laugh at her for 2.5 years. Indeed. Seagirl Douluo almost burst out laughing. Outrageous. Our own high priest is really something. Since you have already chosen Tang Chen, you are still talking about the covenant of becoming a god. When you meet someone as clever as Tang Chen, you are angry. Bo Saxi's face turned grim as she looked at Aquilid and asked, am I being ridiculous? No. Aquilid said seriously, I think the high priestess is right. A woman as powerful as the high priestess would naturally find a man who can become a god. Actually, Aquilid thought, the second of the three fools, the land, sea, and air, truly lives up to their name. Bo Saxi wanted to say something, but ultimately held back. It must have been very difficult to get this reward today. Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong and the other two were also overjoyed. As expected, I was saying Su Chen wouldn't criticize so casually, right? Bo Saxi is really reserved. Tang Chen is the real fool. He won't return until he becomes a god. This is hilarious, haha, Bibi Dong chuckled. I think Bo Saxi is the real fool. Tang Chen doesn't have divine inheritance, so naturally he didn't understand Bo Saxi's hint, so Bo Saxi is really smart. Liena and Ling Yuan nodded vigorously. They couldn't say Bo Saxi was as chaste as a virgin anymore. This should be the smart Bo Saxi. At Su Chen's house, Zhu Zhuqing and the others were also laughing. Isn't this too funny? I thought Bo Saxi was emotionally hurt. This plot is too outrageous. Hai, Lu, and Kong are 3 idiots. Hai and Lu are definitely 2 idiots. No, 2 smart people. At this moment, Yilingling and Du Yuan almost burst out laughing. But with Su Chen beside them, they forced themselves to hold back their laughter. Su Chen asked, are we almost there? Let's stop at the street ahead and buy some things to take with us. Okay, Yilingling and the others nodded, stopped at the street ahead, and got off the carriage with Su Chen. Speaking of which, as the Xiandao imperial family hurried to the main road to Wuhan City, Liu Erlong sat in the carriage, looking at the scenery outside, and couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Bo Saxi, you're useless even when I give you a chance. Why don't you just confront them directly? Why don't you learn from me? Bah. It seems that compared to Bo Saxi, Liu Erlong is not much better. Bo Saxi is very smart, but she, Liu Erlong, is a blind Douluo. When a thief meets a thief, neither should blame the other. Chapter 202, True Martial Virtue 1000 Flows. Spirit Academy. Shui Binger and her sister had almost finished touring the entire academy. But they still couldn't find Su Chen, nor did they find Liena, Yilingling, and the others. Even Ho Wu and Zhu Zhuqing were nowhere to be seen. Shui Yuer muttered, damn it, aren't these people supposed to be attending Spirit Academy? They just signed up yesterday, and not a single one showed up today. That's too much. Zhu Wu and the others nodded. How about we go to his house? What excuse can we find to go to Su Chen's house? Shui Binger suddenly smiled and said, I have an idea. Let's say we're going to see Ho Wu. We'll go spar with her and test how much her strength has improved with a diary reward she recently received. Zhu Wu nodded heavily and said, okay, let's do it. We must take the initiative, otherwise. Look at that clever Bo Saxi, isn't he miserable? Women can't be too reserved. They must strive and boldly pursue their own happiness. When it's time to act, act now. Let's go. Hesitation will only lead to failure. Decisiveness will bring success. However, Su Chen wasn't even home. He, Yilingling, and Du Yuan had already arrived at the Yi family's house, carrying bags full of things after shopping. What did I say just now? The 3 idiots of the sea, land, and air force. Let's just talk about the 2 clever ones, Bo Saxi and Tang Chen. I didn't wrong them at all. As for that other idiot, Jin Daoliu, I'm even more speechless about him. Let's put it this way, besides Bibi Dong, Liena, and Qian Renxue, the destruction of the Spirit Hall also involves Jin Daoliu, who bears considerable responsibility. Oh, I'm getting off topic, but I still want to criticize Jin Daoliu. He's the only truly righteous person in Douluo 1, except for his poorly raised son. Jin Daoliu truly holds a strong moral compass. For the sake of a man whose fate he didn't know, Tang Chen, he wouldn't join the Clear Sky sect even when his son was being hammered to death. Even when Tang Hao toppled the angel statue, he didn't intervene. But sometimes being too righteous is foolish. Imagine you were ready to sacrifice yourself for Qian Renxue's 9th trial. Wouldn't you have killed Tang San and Tang Hao to eliminate the threat to your granddaughter? Also, Jin Daoliu, for all his cleverness, completely loses his sense of place. You're the strongest in the sky, but in a fight with Tang Chen, why don't you use your aerial advantage instead of fighting him on the ground? Jin Daoliu is the moral ceiling of Douluo continent, but I think he's just a fool. He's so obsessed with martial virtue that he's even ruined the spirit hall. What else could he be but a fool? Prince's mansion. Qian Renxue's expression grew complicated upon seeing this. A moral ceiling. Her grandfather was truly remarkable. He was the first person Su Chen criticized for his good character. I guess your father's actions have brought shame upon you. Wait? Qian Renxue was lamenting about her grandfather when she took a closer look at the diary. Bibi Dong, Liena, and Qian Renxue, all three of them in love? How could she be in love too? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How could she be in love? She had absolutely no need for love. Tang San wasn't just ugly, he was short and dark, and not much either. Qian Renxue became suspicious. Could she also be a member of the blind Douluo group? Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong and the other two were stunned. Liena was somewhat surprised and whispered, "Teacher, is the high priest really as upright as Su Chen claims?" Bibi Dong's expression was a little complicated. She glanced at Liena and replied, "Teacher's current existence, as well as Tang Hao and the Haoshan sects, have proven it, hasn't it?" Liena was also shocked. She didn't know much about Jin Daoliu and had always thought he was a powerful figure like her teacher. Who could have imagined that Jin Daoliu was such a gentleman? Ling Yuan muttered, "Su Chen is right. If the high priest wasn't so virtuous and trustworthy, our spirit hall wouldn't have been destroyed, right?" Bibi Dong glanced at Ling Yuan and Liena, sighed, and said nothing. She couldn't help but recall how Jin Daoliu doted on her before she met Yu Xiaogang. Even compared to Qian Renxue today, she was definitely no less. Indeed. Bibi Dong was Jin Zhengji's disciple and the successor to the Spirit Hall's Holy Maiden position. Their relationship was like Jin Daoliu's granddaughter. How could Jin Daoliu not love her? If Jin Daoliu and Jin Zhengji hadn't doted on Bibi Dong excessively, how could Bibi Dong have been so innocent and lively? How could she have dared to marry a worthless Yu Xiaogang? Take Liena now, for example. Even though she was treated like Bibi Dong's own daughter, she still didn't dare tell Bibi Dong when she was in love. She wanted to leave the spirit hall and elope with someone else, didn't she? On the sea. Aquilid asked in surprise, "High priest, is Jin Daoliu really as gentlemanly as Su Chen describes him?" Bo Saxi recalled, then nodded slightly, more or less. A hint of doubt crossed the Aquilid's eyes, and after a moment's hesitation, she asked, "High priest, judging by Su Chen's description, I personally think Jin Daoliu is better than Tang Chen. Why did you choose Tang Chen?" Bo Saxi glanced at the Aquilid and shook his head slightly. She herself probably didn't know the answer. Of course, to rephrase the question, when is a man most attractive? He's most attractive when he's not in love. For example, if Jin Daoliu and Tang Chen were both excellent, but Jin Daoliu loved her more, while Tang Chen, too obsessed with cultivation, didn't love her as much as Jin Daoliu, Bo Saxi would absolutely choose Tang Chen. As for Bo Saxi's subsequent story, it's about Tang San accepting the sea god's inheritance, and Bo Saxi ultimately sacrificing herself for Tang San's divine ascension. In general, although the three idiots of land, sea and air are powerful, they are a bit foolish in their behavior and actions at this moment. Bo Saxi saw the end of the diary and felt relieved. Su Chen was finally finished. He was finished too. The three idiots of land, sea and air. I am afraid that they will be laughed at by the women who have a copy of the diary for 2.5 years. The reward of the diary is really hard to get. Sea Girl Douluo asked, "High priest, shall we go to the Heaven Dao Empire as soon as we get ashore?" Bo Saxi nodded slightly and said, "Yes, since Lord Poseidon asked us to rescue people, Tang San's situation should be in danger. We must rush to the Heaven Dao Empire as quickly as possible." Sea Girl Douluo hesitated and said, "Or we can go to Wuhan City to play, and don't go to the Heaven Dao Empire. Then we won't save Tang San." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Competition. Listening to what Sea-Girl Douluo said, Bo Saxi showed a bit of surprise in his eyes and said, Sea-Girl, do you know what you are saying? You want to disobey the order of Lord Sea God. Sea-Girl Douluo lowered her head and said in a frustrated tone, I don't want to disobey the order of Lord Sea God, but if we rescue Tang San and let him get the inheritance of Lord Sea God, you, High Priest, will be sacrificed next. I think it's better to let Tang San fend for himself. Bo Saxi looked at the Sea Girl and said solemnly, we can't disobey the order of Lord Sea God. The Sea Girl's face was ugly. After thinking for a while, she said, High Priest, how about this? We obey the order of Lord Sea God, rescue Tang San, and then kill him. This doesn't count as disobeying the order of Lord Sea God. I am really smart. Bo Saxi was speechless. No, that would also violate the orders of the Sea God. Don't get involved in this matter with the Sea Maiden. The Sea Maiden, looking frustrated, said, but they don't want the High Priest to offer sacrifices. Jin Daoli wants to offer sacrifices, but it's for his granddaughter. It would be fine if Tang San were your grandson, but you're not related to him, so why would you offer sacrifices for him? Bo Saxi glanced at the Sea Maiden and whispered, it's still early. Maybe I still have hope. Bo Saxi's current hope was to see if he could get something from the diary dungeon rewards to avoid being sacrificed to Tang San. In Wuhan City, at Su Chen's home, Zhu Zhuqing and her group had just finished their melons. Ning Rongrong said in disbelief, Jin Daoliu is actually a good man. How could this happen? He clearly killed Grandpa Jian's father, and he's such an upright person. Xiao Wu and the others looked at Ning Rongrong, their expressions becoming somewhat complicated. Zhu Zhuqing explained quietly, in fact, these are not contradictory. In the eyes of outsiders such as Su Chen, Jin Daoliu's life is indeed upright, but would it be so in the eyes of the Haoshan sect? The same. To outsiders, Jin Daoliu is upright and keeps his promises, but in the eyes of some sects and families such as the Haoshan sect, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, and the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect, he is still the first executioner of the Spirit Hall. Ning Rongrong nodded heavily when she heard this and said, anyway, in our family, Jin Daoliu is definitely not a good person. He has killed many people. Ho Wu said, I think Su Chen is right. In this world, there is no good or evil. What exists is simply a different stance. In the eyes of our family, Jin Daoliu is not a good person either, because our family is on the opposite side of Jin Daoliu. As the judging elder of the Spirit Hall, Jin Daoliu has killed many powerful people from our family and sect. Jiangzu looked at the few people and said, I think the Spirit Hall and Jin Daoliu are great. Without the Spirit Hall's constraints, not only would it be difficult for ordinary people to awaken, but many evil spirit masters would surely emerge. As they were chatting, Shui Binger and her group walked in. Ho Wu raised an eyebrow and called out, hey, what are you doing here? Zhu Zhuqing and the others looked over. Shui Yuer smiled and said, we're classmates now, haven't you forgotten? You guys didn't go to school on your first day. Can't we just show some concern for you? Ho Wu, with her straightforward personality, bluntly said, Tisk. Why are you saying such nice things? Aren't you here to see Su Chen? You've come to the wrong place today. Su Chen and Sister Lingling have gone to the Yi family. Zhu Zhuqing and her group looked at Shui Binger and her group with strange eyes. These little devils have bad intentions. Shui Binger and her sister blushed. Although, but, don't say it directly. Shui Yuer was speechless. Even though we all know each other, even though you are very clear about our purpose, if you just say it directly, how embarrassing would it be for us? Can't you just give us some face? Ahem. Shui Yuer cleared her throat and said seriously, Ho Wu, you are wrong. We are not here to find Su Chen today. We are here to challenge you. Let's see what progress you have made after getting so many rewards recently. Zhu Wu and her group also said stubbornly, oh, yes, we are not here to find Su Chen. We are here to compete with our old rival Ho Wu. Come on, Ho Wu. Ho Wu was also amused and said, if Shui Binger is okay, you, Shui Yuer, are not qualified to challenge me. Ho Wu was talking when she suddenly remembered and said, Shui Yuer, you want to challenge me? I can satisfy you today. Shui Yuer said with a strange look on her face, what do you want to do? I originally asked my sister to challenge you. You are over level 30 and have won several rewards. It is not fair for the two of us to fight. Ho Wu said calmly, that's easy, neither of us uses soul power. Let's compete in boxing and kicking. That's fair, right? Are you sure? Shui Yuer looked at Ho Wu with a strange expression. Of course, Ho Wu said seriously, I'm standing here today. Any 7 of you can challenge me. Let's have a duel without using soul power. Zhu Zhuqing and the others looked at her with a complicated expression. Good fellow. Ho Wu, you're such a jerk. You've been learning martial arts from Su Chen for so many days, and now you're going to bully 7 powerless women? We love you for being so mean. Ning Rongrong also stepped forward and said, well, there's me. Do any of you want to challenge me? I'm telling you, I'm a support soul master. If we fight without soul power, you'll definitely win, Ning Rongrong said, still playfully gesturing at the group. Arrogant. Too arrogant. Shui Yuer looked at Ning Rongrong and said, you're right, sister, you go teach Ho Wu a lesson later. I'll challenge Ning Rongrong first and teach her a lesson. When did a mere support spirit master dare to be so arrogant? Okay, Ning Rongrong was delighted, her little witchy temper flaring up as she stepped forward and struck a starting stance. Tai Chi, Ning Rongrong, please teach me. Ho Wu glanced at Ning Rongrong in surprise. When did she learn such a cool opening line? Shui Binger and her sister were speechless. You're just a support spirit master, and you're really putting on such a show. Please teach me, Shui Yuer shouted, charging forward, raising her long, white legs and kicking Ning Rongrong. You support spirit master, look at me. One flying kick will leave you sitting on the ground crying for 2.5 years. It happened in a flash. After Shui Yuer's kick, Ning Rongrong used a light Tai Chi relay and threw Shui Binger out. Bang! Before Shui Yuer could react, she fell flat on her face. Shui Yuer, what happened? Chapter 204. You are too unethical. For a moment, Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu were also stunned. This scene seemed familiar. When they were in Shrek Academy, weren't they all beaten by Su Chen, Liena and the others in this way? Good guy. Things have changed, and today it's my turn. Speaking of which, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Ho Wu, and even Shui Binger and Shui Yuer, when compared with the 3 Tangs, may be relatively mediocre, but they are actually all talented soul masters from various places. In the current era of Douluo continent, they are the most talented. If they were placed in the world of martial arts, they would also be genius disciples in the sect, so they learn very quickly. Even though Ning Rongrong hadn't practiced for a few days, she could still comprehend 2.5 minutes of Tai Chi. It was naturally easy for her to fight Shui Yuer, who didn't have many skills. Shui Yuer climbed to her feet, furious. Damn it, I was careless just now. Let's fight again. I don't believe a support spirit master like you could be this powerful after just 2 days of training, Ning Rongrong, overjoyed, replied. Come here. Shui Yuer charged forward again, but before she could even launch 2 moves, Ning Rongrong struck her in the chest with 2 consecutive palm strikes, sending her flying. Bang! The 2 palm strikes sent Shui Yuer reeling back, landing on the ground with a scowl. So infuriating. Could Su Chen's kung fu be so miraculous? Let's fight again. Still unconvinced, Shui Yuer rose and charged forward again. Ning Rongrong, too, was brimming with pride. Her seemingly leisurely pace was countered by her every move, leaving Shui Yuer defenseless. The Zhu sisters were stunned. Such a miserable loss. Such a crushing defeat. Ho Wu excitedly declared, Shui Yuer, admit defeat. It's my turn to beat up your sister now, Shui Binger, it's our turn now, Pai Yun Palm, Ho Wu, please teach me. Everyone. Shui Binger was dumbfounded. Let's just forget it. You're more skilled. Let's just admit defeat. Shui Binger was a calm and composed girl. Seeing Shui Yuer being beaten beyond repair by Ning Rongrong, she naturally had no intention of fighting Ho Wu. Ho Wu, a bit stunned, said, no, you agreed to challenge me. How can you back down now? I've already taken off my pants, and you can't say no, Shui Binger replied frankly. I admit you're more skilled. So there's no need for us to compete, beat me? Ho Wu, don't even think about it. Ho Wu was furious and said angrily, I just don't like playing with you guys. You're so cunning, you're already giving up before the fight even begins. This made all the girls laugh. Zhu Wu and the others admired their captain, saying he was worthy of being the captain. He could handle things easily. He didn't give Ho Wu a chance to show off. Zhu Zhuqing and the others thought, luckily, Ho Wu met Su Chen late. Otherwise, if Ho Wu had learned 100 reasons why Su Chen bullied Tang San in those few days, Shui Binger wouldn't have had a chance to surrender. Shui Binger said helplessly, In that case, let's activate our spirits. Okay. Ho Wu clenched her fists and said, I'm going to give you a good beating today. As Shui Binger and Ho Wu activated their spirits and prepared for battle, Shui Yuer and her group, along with Ning Rongrong's group, acted as cheerleaders, cheering on their companions. Go Ho Wu, you'll definitely beat her to pulp. Go Captain. Captain, beat that slutty girl to tears. Suddenly, spirit abilities of both ice and fire erupted in the courtyard's martial arts arena. Liena, returning from the spirit hall, sensed the twin surges of spirit power before even entering. She was surprised. Were these people so engrossed in their training these days? Upon entering, she found Ho Wu and Shui Binger engaged in a fierce battle. What are they doing? Why are they fighting? Ning Rongrong saw Liena return and approached her, saying, It's okay. They're just having a normal fight. Liena nodded slightly. I see. Judging from the situation, their strength doesn't seem too different. It's hard to say who will win. Normally, Ho Wu and Shui Binger's spirit power levels were similar, and both had increased their spirit rings by 1,000 years. However, Ho Wu had taken advantage of several rewards and now had reached level 35 spirit power. Shui Binger's soul power level was 32, but the quality of her martial soul was slightly higher. The two fought in this match, a match of ice and fire, fighting until their soul power was nearly depleted. Shui Yuer shouted, The battle is over. A draw. Everyone nodded, their strength indeed being equal. No, Ning Rongrong stepped forward and said, It's not a draw. Ho Wu can fight again. Ho Wu was delighted and said, Right. Although our soul power levels are almost equal now, if we keep fighting, I still have time to win. Shui Binger, you're done. Can you withstand this punch, amassed with 20 years of cultivation? With that, Ho Wu, imitating Su Chen's previous words, charged forward, raising her palm and striking Shui Binger in the chest. You and I surrender. Bang. Surrendering means half the battle, but before Shui Binger could even utter the word, Ho Wu knocked her down with a single palm strike. Shui Yuer and her sister couldn't stand it anymore and said, Ho Wu, you are so unsportsmanlike. Our captain has admitted defeat. Why are you still fighting? Ho Wu said unhappily. She hasn't shouted out yet, has she? Ho Wu felt very happy anyway. She had always been unable to beat Shui Binger in the past, and today she finally got her revenge. Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu said, That's right. The winner hasn't been decided yet. How did Ho Wu go too far? Besides, Ho Wu didn't hit hard. Can't you guys just afford to lose? What? We can't afford to lose? Zhu Wu and her group said angrily. Who said we can't afford to lose? We just let it go and didn't bother with you anymore. Let's do it again. This time it's 2 against 2. Do you two dare to take it? Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu looked at each other and replied, Why shouldn't we? But one of you two has to be a supporting soul master. Liena looked at everyone and said, You guys compete. I'll go to the kitchen to see what we have for lunch today. Shui Binger, you all should stay and eat together. Shui Binger and the others also expressed their gratitude. Well, thank you. Sister Nana is still very broad-minded. Chapter 205 What a pity, the man has gone crazy and his eyes are blind. As the saying goes, 3 women make a play, 9 women make a war. At first, the duel was peaceful, but as the fighting progressed, both sides got carried away and began to fight without any respect for martial ethics. After all, they were all competitive at that age. In the afternoon, Su Chen, Yi Lingling, and Du Yuyan returned from dinner at the Yi family's house. As soon as they entered the courtyard, they felt as if their home had been robbed. Ho Wu, Ning Rongrong, Shui Binger, and Shui Yuer all looked disheveled, their faces slightly bruised. It was obvious that they had been beaten badly. What happened? Su Chen was shocked and sighed inwardly. What kind of evil had these beautiful girls done to deserve such a slap in the face? Was there still a law? Zhu Zhuqing explained calmly, We were just competing with each other. Fists and kicks have no eyes. Regarding this, Zhu Zhuqing felt a sense of frustration. She couldn't compete due to her excessive spirit power, leaving Ning Rongrong, Ho Wu, Xiao Wu, and Zhang Zhu facing off against Shui Binger and 7 others. 4 against 7 meant I had the advantage. Ning Rongrong and her 4 were severely disadvantaged. They were outnumbered and had no time to recover from the round-robin battles, and 2 of them were support spirit masters. Su Chen glanced at the crowd with a hint of surprise, then thought for a moment and said, As the saying goes, don't hit someone in the face, and don't expose someone's weaknesses when you insult them. Winning or losing a competition doesn't matter, but don't hit them in the face. We're all beautiful girls, aren't we? Xiao Wu muttered. It was Shui Yuer who hit Rongrong in the eye first, so I hide her, Shui Yuer said angrily. Then who told your Ho Wu to hit my sister in the face first? Ho Wu retorted, I was just careless. You did it on purpose. You? Everyone was about to argue after hearing this. Zhu Zhuqing glanced at the crowd and interrupted. Yeah, they'll remember this. Ning Rongrong and the other three looked at Zhu Zhuqing, suppressed their anger, and fell silent. Shui Binger and Zhu Wu exchanged a glance and said, we'll remember it too. Su Chen nodded, without saying anything else. He smiled and said to the crowd, we'll have barbecue tonight. I bought a lot of seasonings on the street today. It's sure to be better than the barbecue we've had before. Su Chen was helpless. Emperors generally have short lifespans, and there's a good reason for that. If he couldn't find a harem master to handle official business in the future, he might not be able to enjoy the blessing of 3 wives and 4 concubines. Late in the evening, in the Pope's chambers, Bibi Dong was sitting at her desk, attending to official business, when she heard Ling Yuan's voice at the door. Your Majesty, an old friend is here to see you. Look who it is. Bibi Dong looked up and saw a young woman with delicate features, picturesque eyes, and a voluptuous figure walking in with Ling Yuan. Huh? Bibi Dong frowned slightly, feeling as if she'd seen the person before her, but suddenly couldn't place it. The woman was none other than Liu Erlong. Bibi Dong looked her up and down. She looked like a beautiful woman in her 30s, beautiful and elegant, with a figure that was incredibly curvaceous and perfect. Liu Erlong also looked at Bibi Dong. Sure enough, Bibi Dong was even more beautiful than she'd imagined, noble, elegant, and serene. Her figure was incredibly beautiful, with a rounded figure and a rounded bottom. This was a woman with a perfect combination of beauty, figure, and temperament. What a shame, she'd gone mad. A moment of silence. Liu Erlong saluted and shouted, Liu Erlong greets His Holiness the Pope. Hearing about her is worse than seeing her in person. Your Holiness is the most beautiful and elegant woman I've ever met. Oh. Suddenly, Bibi Dong realized she had never met Liu Erlong, but years ago, she had someone investigate Liu Erlong and had seen her portrait. It's you, Bibi Dong said, standing up and stepping forward. Hearing about you is better than meeting you in person. Liu Erlong, you're also very beautiful. We've known each other for a long time, and today we finally meet. What a shame, he's already blind. Speaking of blind Douluo, except for Su Yongtao, the elder and second sisters have all gathered today. Bibi Dong's face was calm as she invited, come this way. Liu Erlong nodded slightly and followed Bibi Dong to the nearby reception room, where she casually sat down across from Bibi Dong. Although this was their first official meeting, they were still. After all, they were from the same blind Douluo group, and they had a long history of spiritual connection. We were both wanderers in this world, so why should we have known each other before? Ling Yuan poured tea for the two and said, Your Majesty, you two can chat. I'll be leaving first. Bibi Dong looked at Ling Yuan, somewhat puzzled. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Let's sit down and talk. I was expecting you to testify that I, Bibi Dong, have my eyes healed and am no longer mad. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Liu Erlong also looked at Ling Yuan. Don't leave so quickly, are you? If you leave, it will be just the two of us. What if I say something that upsets Bibi Dong and she gets angry and starts hitting me? Ling Yuan replied, No, Your Majesty. Nana and the others are having a barbecue at home. I heard Su Chen personally mixed the ingredients, so I'm going to try some. Chat with you two? Forget it. No one knows if the blindness skill is contagious. What if you two infect me? If I have this time, I'd rather go to Su Chen's house and be with all those beautiful young women. That would make me look younger too. Besides, love rivals are particularly jealous when they meet. What if you two actually come to blows? Ling Yuan didn't stay, she left immediately after saying that. Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong, a pair of pitiful Douluo, were left alone on the field, and the atmosphere was strangely quiet. Bibi Dong said calmly, Tea. As the Pope of the Spirit Hall, she was quite magnanimous and well-mannered. Thank you. Liu Erlong took a sip from her cup. Silence fell again. Bibi Dong was the first to break the silence, asking, What are you doing in Spirit City this time? Liu Erlong replied, Didn't you ask us all to come? Oh. Bibi Dong felt a little embarrassed. Sister, although you've been very restrained, you're a bit blunt. How should she respond? Bibi Dong hesitated, then said, "I've read your story." Liu Erlong followed suit, saying, "I've read your story too." How? Bibi Dong couldn't help but laugh. She was genuinely amused. "I thought a meeting with you would be a bitter rivalry, but now it seems we share a common affliction and a mutual respect." Upon hearing this, Liu Erlong paused, then spoke frankly, "You might not believe this, but before coming to Spirit City, I slapped Yu Gang twice, and even slapped Flender, Tang Hao, and Tang San in the face, so we're different. Before, we could say we shared a common affliction, but that was me back then. I've completely changed." Bibi Dong? Liu Erlong, my eyes are healed. Surprising? Unexpected? Exciting? Chapter 206 Depressed Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong was stunned. Bibi Dong was truly stunned. No? What was she talking about? What was she showing off about? This was the first time we, the blind Douluo group, met, and you're telling me you're quitting? You're quitting, as if I hadn't. What are you showing off to me about? Bibi Dong remained silent. Liu Erlong, on the other hand, was vaguely worried. Would Bibi Dong, this crazy woman, hear that she had beaten Yu Gang and then give her a lecture? It didn't matter. Liu Erlong thought, if Bibi Dong really wanted to teach her a lesson, then let her do it. The blind Douluo group was definitely quitting on their own. Actually, Bibi Dong hesitated, then looked at Liu Erlong seriously and said, "Actually, we're the same. We were the same before, and we're the same now. You were able to recognize Yu Gang after reading the diary, and I was able to recognize Yu Gang after reading the diary. Also, you might not believe this, but the Rakshasa god's evil thoughts were also purified by the diary copy. The diary copy is magical, you should know that, right?" Although Bibi Dong felt she still had to explain. Whether others believed her or not was one thing, but if she didn't explain, then they would be even less likely to know her. Liu Erlong was puzzled by what she heard, unsure whether she could trust Bibi Dong. Seeing Liu Erlong's confused and troubled eyes, Bibi Dong felt furious. "What's going on? You said you were quitting the blind Douluo group, and I believed you without reservation. Why don't you believe me when I say I'm quitting, too?" Bibi Dong hesitated and asked, "You don't believe me?" "Yeah." Liu Erlong was honest. She wasn't one to play tricks, she was straightforward and had a hot temper. "Huh?" Bibi Dong was completely speechless. Fine. You, Liu Erlong, are truly speechless. Ling Yuan, Liena, and the others may not quite believe me, but at least they say so. You don't even try to pretend. It seems I need to do something. Bibi Dong sighed, "We're both women with unfortunate fates. If we hadn't met Yu Gang, we would have a happy family, the happiness every woman deserves." Liu Erlong said helplessly, "It can't be helped. Who made us blind Douluo?" "Hey, I really want to ask you something. You're talking about me. Back then, I was just an illegitimate child, with no status or strength. It's fine for me to fall for Yu Gang. You were already the saint of the spirit hall, and moreover, you were the most powerful genius on the continent at the time, with twin spirits. The men chasing you would line up from here to see God Island. Why would you fall for a worthless person who is expelled from the family?" The words were spoken carelessly, but the listener took them seriously. Bibi Dong's face darkened. "Damn it. Liu Erlong, you bastard, what you mean is that your blindness is excusable, but I am simply blind?" Bibi Dong did not let this go and retorted, "Actually, I would like to ask you something. The martial soul fusion skill of your golden iron triangle is the golden holy dragon. Didn't you ask Yu Gang why the golden holy dragon appeared in the martial soul fusion skill with him as the main one? Also, when you three were wandering in the martial arts world, didn't you know each other?" When Liu Erlong heard this, her temper instantly flared up. She looked at Bibi Dong and said unhappily, "You exposed my shortcomings." Bibi Dong glanced at Liu Erlong and replied indifferently, "Didn't you expose my shortcomings first, huh?" Liu Erlong was speechless. "My question is obviously very reasonable, and your question is obviously intentional," Bibi Dong said seriously. "When you offend others, it doesn't matter whether it is intentional or not, because you have already offended them." Liu Erlong was also convinced. Forget it, I can't argue with you, but coming to see you today makes me feel much better. After all, if even a woman as outstanding, beautiful, and capable as you could fall for Yu Gang, then my previous blindness wasn't so foolish." Bibi Dong? Outrageous. "You bastard, this is already murderous and heartbreaking, and you still say you can't argue with me?" Bibi Dong was also furious and helpless. If she hadn't known Liu Erlong's personality through her diary, Bibi Dong would have thought she was a master of quarreling. Each word was more ruthless than the last. Didn't I, Bibi Dong, have to be the stupidest, the most blind, and the one who couldn't be cured? Liu Erlong suddenly said, "Oh, by the way, I came from Xiandao City and have no reason to find Su Chen. Can you help me think of a reason and take me to find him?" Bibi Dong was speechless when she heard this. "Why should I help you, you bastard? You've already murdered me and heartbroken me, and you still want me to help you get close to Su Chen for a reward? What's so naive?" Liu Erlong asked, somewhat bewildered. "Wasn't it your idea to keep Su Chen in the dark about the existence of the diary copy? Am I not also cooperating with you?" Bibi Dong was bewildered. Okay. You, Liu Erlong, are truly amazing. I don't think you're a straightforward person. I think you're just a scheming little bitch. You've left me, the Spirit Hall's Pope, helpless and unable to deal with you. Of course, while Liu Erlong may be outspoken and hot-tempered, that doesn't mean she's brainless." Bibi Dong, feeling rather frustrated, nodded softly. "Yes, I'll take you to him. Ling Yuan mentioned they were grilling something at home, so we should go check it out and join in the fun." "Thank you, you're quite nice." Liu Erlong was in a good mood. Ever since she'd slapped Yu Zia Gang twice before leaving, she'd felt refreshed, as if the youth of her teenage years had returned. Bibi Dong felt even more frustrated. Liu Erlong, that jerk, why did she always seem so irritating when she spoke? On the road, Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong were walking one in front and one behind. Liu Erlong casually looked around at the architecture of the Spirit Hall and muttered, "Actually, after what we just did together, I don't think you, Bibi Dong, are as hateful as I thought. As someone who has been through this, I don't think we should always live in the past. Although we are not young anymore, we still have a long life ahead of us." Bibi Dong was almost speechless. "Why are you telling me all this? How can I, the Pope of the Spirit Hall, be telling me how to do things? The key point. Why do you think you have been through this, but I, Bibi Dong, have not been through this? Am I not also a person who has been through this?" Seeing Bibi Dong's cold face and silence, Liu Erlong sighed and said, "Really, we must forget the past. At any time, we have the right to choose our lives again." Bibi Dong, big sister, are you here to torture me? Chapter 207. Young, you are still too young. Bibi Dong was practically driven to autism by Liu Erlong. But it happened. Liu Erlong's straightforward personality made her words seem so casual, leaving Bibi Dong completely clueless. Because she had absolutely no strategy. By the way, Liu Erlong's expression suddenly darkened, her eyes gleaming with anger as she spoke. "I haven't told you about what happened before we got here. Yu Zia Gang is such a scumbag. After Su Chen crippled him, he actually followed Flender to Blue Power Academy to find me. It's outrageous. I'm not some trash can, and this worthless piece of shit, not even a man, still wants to be with me." Bibi Dong, Yu Zia Gang isn't worth it. Although Liu Erlong's impression of Bibi Dong had improved somewhat, the main reason she offered these words of advice to Bibi Dong was pity for the woman. Bibi Dong agreed, but to Liu Erlong, this was simply a perfunctory response. Anyway, fellow wanderers, Liu Erlong felt that this was all he could do for Bibi Dong, that pitiful woman. Whether she could turn back depended on her own luck. Meanwhile, Su Chen's place was bustling with activity. Not only were Liena, Yi Lingling, Du Yan, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Ho Wu, Jiang Zhu, Ning Rongrong, and the sisters Shui Binger and Shui Yui all there, but Ling Yuan, who had joined from the Spirit Hall, had also come to join in the fun. A group of charming women, gathered in groups of 3 or 5, drinking beer and chatting about their dreams and everything in between. Su Chen sat, grilling barbecue and drinking beer, admiring the scenery in the courtyard. Oh, life. This was the life a time traveler should have. No fighting and killing, life was for enjoyment. Besides Su Chen, Ling Yuan was also incredibly happy. She felt like she'd become younger by being around these young people. Wasn't this more enjoyable than staying in the Spirit Hall and chatting with those two old ladies, Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong? Right now, Ling Yuan sat down next to Su Chen, her wine glass in hand. A smile played on her lips. In the candlelight, she looked charming and captivating. "Su Chen, last time you asked me how you wanted me to repay you when we returned to Spirit Hall." Su Chen looked at the charming woman beside him, swallowed softly, and replied, "Aunt Ling Yuan, I was just joking." There's no question of repaying something between us, we'll talk about it later. Ling Yuan smiled coquettishly, but said a little sentimentally, as the saying goes, a life-saving grace should be repaid with one's body. Sister does have the idea of repaying with one's body, but it's a pity that sister is old. With so many beautiful girls in front of you, I'm afraid you don't look down on sister. Oh, it would be great if I could meet you earlier, like when Nana and the others were their age. Su Chen thought to himself, older people have their own charm. Auntie, you have a charm that these young girls don't have. Ahem. Su Chen looked at Ling Yuan and said seriously, Aunt Ling Yuan is at the age of a flower. As the saying goes, a woman is in her prime at 41. Ling Yuan looked at Su Chen and replied, but, sister is no longer 40, no. Su Chen shook his head and said seriously, in my opinion, Aunt Ling Yuan is only 30 years old this year. She is still at the age of blooming and the most beautiful age. Ling Yuan was very happy when she heard Su Chen's words. She moved closer to Su Chen and said, you little rascal. You're so handsome, so powerful, and so good at making people happy. How many girls are you going to deceive? Su Chen listened to Ling Yuan's words, looked at Liena, Zhu Zhuqing and others not far away, and said with a smile, I can't guarantee how many people I can deceive, but what I can guarantee is that I will keep lying, in this life until the end of my life. Hey, Ling Yuan also laughed. She took the cup and drank it all with Su Chen, and whispered, then would you like to try to pick a flower like yours, a flower that may be a little late but has not yet bloomed, good guy? Are you going to use this to take the postgraduate entrance examination? Su Chen picked up the Soul Beast beer and filled it for Ling Yuan, saying, drink another one, and I'll tell you, you're not trying to get your sister drunk, are you? Ling Yuan looked at Su Chen strangely. Su Chen nodded in agreement, right, they say truth comes out when drunk. I want to hear what you really think, sister. After all, I'm serious about relationships. Ling Yuan glanced at Su Chen and said, okay, drink with me. Ling Yuan drank half of her glass and offered her life to Su Chen. Or perhaps it was Auntie who would do that. Her actions had truly piqued Su Chen's interest. Su Chen didn't refuse, accepting Ling Yuan's glass and downing it in one gulp. Meanwhile, the other women present, having had a few drinks, were all preoccupied with chatting and having fun, far inferior to Auntie. Really? Give them a chance, they wouldn't matter. However, as Su Chen and Ling Yuan sat together, sharing a drink, Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong approached the door. They were about to speak up. But who would have thought? Seeing Ling Yuan's actions, they stopped dead in their tracks, staring at each other with disbelief in their eyes. Okay. Bravo, Ling Yuan Douluo, we asked you to stay at the Spirit Hall, and you said you wanted to try some barbecue. And you really did. If we had come a little later, you'd probably have been eating sausage. I give you the thumbs up. You old fool. We despise you, shamelessly eating young grass, an old cow. Speaking of which, is that contempt? They despise themselves, not themselves, but the one eating the young grass. Teacher, Dean, Liena and Jiangzhu, who were playing games at that moment, also spotted Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong. Everyone looked over, a hint of confusion in their eyes. We were all having a great time, and who knew the Spirit Hall Pope had just arrived? How could we possibly let loose? Su Chen also looked at them with a puzzled expression. Outrageous. That woman following Bibi Dong looked so much like Liu Erlong. Ugh. I wasn't even drunk yet, and this was none other than Liu Erlong, a female Tyrannosaurus Rex. How did she end up hanging out with Bibi Dong? Could it be that the diary also had a function for making friends? Bibi Dong said calmly, you guys continue, ignore us, let's go talk to Su Chen. What a bunch of idiots. Every one of you is either too lazy to keep a man under control, or too lazy to hook up with one. Didn't you realize that little bitch Ling Yuan already got Su Chen? You're young, you're still too young. Seeing Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong arrive, and seeing them walking towards this place together, Ling Yuan was speechless. No? What are you two doing here? You two are really ruining my good thing. I'm about to tell the truth after drinking. I've been single for decades, please give me a chance. Chapter 208 Release the Soul Bone. Look. Su Chen saw Bibi Dong and the other two approaching and stood up, politely calling out, Your Holiness, Liu Erlong, why are you here, why are you together, this is outrageous. Are you guys going to form the blind Douluo team? Should I send someone to contact Brother Tao? Bibi Dong casually sat down and said calmly, Erlong and I are old acquaintances. Today, she happened to come to see Jiangsu, so I brought her along. It seems we came at the wrong time. Did they ruin your plans? Liu Erlong raised an eyebrow and looked at Su Chen, saying, "Why, don't you welcome me?" Su Chen thought to himself, "Not only do I not welcome you, I don't welcome Bibi Dong either. You came at the wrong time. How can I welcome you? Ugh, you came at the perfect time." Su Chen smiled and said, "Guests are welcome. How can we not welcome them?" Su Chen reassessed Liu Erlong. Was this woman with Bibi Dong because of the diary appointment, or were they here to plead for Yuzai Gang? Liu Erlong chose to sit down next to Bibi Dong, looking around at the women in the yard. She couldn't help but sigh inwardly. There are so many people here. Can you handle it? Su Chen picked up the Soul Beast beer and handed it to Bibi Dong, asking, "Your Holiness, would you like a drink?" Bibi Dong nodded slightly and took it. Liu Erlong, without waiting for Su Chen to offer any courtesy, picked up a can of Soul Beast beer and drank it all in one gulp. "What's there to eat here? I just arrived in Wuhan City today. I haven't eaten anything since this morning." This woman really doesn't consider herself an outsider. Su Chen looked at the skewers on the stove, picked out some that weren't already grilled, and handed them to Liu Erlong. He asked, logically, "You should be teaching at Blue Scepter Academy. You've come to Wuhan City and are here to find me. Did you find out about Yu Zaigang and want to settle the score with me, or perhaps you're asking for mercy?" Liu Erlong gave Su Chen a somewhat depressed look. "Settle a score? I did come to settle a score with you, but it's between the two of us. Asking for mercy is also asking you to spare me. You're right, but that's only half true. I did come to settle a score with you and ask for mercy, but it's between the two of us. It has nothing to do with Yu Zaigang." Bibi Dong and Ling Yuan raised their eyebrows and looked at Su Chen and Liu Erlong strangely. What else was going on between these two people alone? Su Chen was a bit confused and asked, "We two, we're not even close yet, and if you talk nonsense like that, I'll definitely sue you for defamation." PSSST, Liu Erlong, having just taken a bite of the skewer, spat it out, sticking out her tongue from the spiciness. "What is that? How can it be so spicy and pungent?" Su Chen handed her a bottle of beer and said, "If you can't handle it, I'll give you a little less seasoning." Gulp. Gulp. Liu Erlong seemed to be chugging beer generously, but in reality, the beer was flowing down her lips, down her fair neck, and into the cracks of her milky white skin. "No need." Liu Erlong wiped her mouth and said, "This is the taste." Su Chen swallowed silently, inwardly exclaiming, "What a waste, drinking like this. You're wasting more than you're drinking. If we weren't so unfamiliar with each other, I had to." Ling Yuan and Bibi Dong were secretly watching Su Chen, as if seeing through his thoughts. They said, "You really want to go up and drink more, right? Saving is glorious." Speaking of which, Liu Erlong, whether it was the spiciness or just her good mood, gushed over bottle after bottle of wine, occasionally glancing at Su Chen and Bibi Dong, urging, "What are you looking at? Drink too." Liu Erlong, can't say anything else, but I'm definitely better at drinking than you." Su Chen nodded silently. Seeing Liu Erlong like this, he felt something was amiss. "Sister, are you worried about something?" Bibi Dong raised an eyebrow slightly and replied, "Perhaps. That's just what you think. When it comes to drinking, this pope is no less capable than you, Bibi." Liu Erlong looked at Bibi Dong, their eyes meeting, sparks flying. Ling Yuan's eyes flickered with a smile as she said, "Your Majesty, compete with her, let her see how good you are. Hurry up, you two, fight." "My chance is back." Bibi Dong remained calm as she opened 20 bottles of beer and pushed half of them towards Liu Erlong. "Come." Su Chen, watching the two men's display, shook his head inwardly. Tonight was destined to be another sleepless night. Indeed. Tang Hao and Tang San had said the same thing. Heaven Dao Empire. In the prison. Same time, same place, same group of wronged souls, they'd come again. "You bastard Tang San, your grandfather is here again, kneel before me." Tang Hao and Tang San were instantly horrified. Looking up, they saw over a dozen men in black, each armed with a mace, charging into the prison. Clearly, these were the same group from last night, coming to torture them again. "Who the hell are you, and why are you trying to pick a fight with us? Don't come any closer." Bang! The leader kicked Tang San in the chest, snarling, "We already said last night that we are the people you killed in the treasury. Now, our wronged souls are here to claim our lives." Snap! Snap! The men in black slapped Tang San's face twice. Stop, Tang Hao shouted angrily, damn it. If you have anything to say, come at me. Don't bully my son. With a slap, the man in black slapped him hard in the face and shouted, slap that guy 100 times, he then stopped talking. The man in black returned his gaze to Tang San. If I remember correctly, a spirit bone appeared in your body that day. Give it to me, you, Tang San exclaimed in shock. What do you want to do? I'm warning you, we're from the Clear Sky sect. Not even the Snowy Night Emperor would dare to steal our Clear Sky sect spirit bones. You better. Su. Before Tang San could finish his words, the man in black thrust a wooden stick into his mouth. Tang San? Question mark? Isn't this the same stick I used to poke you down there that day? Damn it. Bastard. Ugh. You've already met your end. You've already met your end. You've already met your vomit. Release the soul bone. Release the soul bone. Release the soul bone. The man in black shouted 3 times in a row, his eyes fixed on Tang San, as if he would attack him from both sides if he didn't cooperate. Swish, swish, swish. Tang San couldn't hold on any longer, and the 8-spider soul bone appeared from behind. As expected, external soul bone, the man in black's eyes flashed with ruthlessness, and he said in a deep voice, smash all of his soul bones and dig them out for me. Chapter 209 Revenge for Father. In an instant, Tang San was startled, his face filled with fear. Stop, stop now, damn it, crack, crack. The mace struck the spider's legs, accompanied by the sound of broken bones and Tang San's screams of agony. Tang Hao also shouted in anger, how dare you, you deserve to die, you truly deserve to die, I am Haoshan Douluo. Our Haoshan sect will not let you go, you bastards. One day, I will kill your entire clan, your entire family, haha. I'm afraid you don't stand a chance, the man in black sneered, and instantly unleashed the soul power of a tidal Douluo, pinning Tang Hao and Tang San to the ground. Dig out his right arm and left leg soul bones. Tang Hao was also instantly panicked. Tidal Douluo, who are you? Who are you? No, how dare you? These 2 soul bones in my body belong to the Haoshan sect. These are the soul bones of the Haoshan sect. How dare you become an enemy of the Haoshan sect? No, you can take anything you want, but not my soul bones. They are the honor of the Haoshan sect. At this moment, Tang Hao was completely devastated. It wasn't just the actions of the man in black, but the most crucial factor was his strength, a tidal Douluo. This meant that even if Tang Hao risked his life, the soul power he unleashed would be no match for him. There was no way they could escape. They, father and son, could only accept their fate tonight. Furthermore, without these 2 soul bones, it would be nearly impossible for Tang Hao to regain his tidal Douluo status. This would prove that he would never stand a chance of revenge against Su Chen again. Soon after, the black-clad figure emerged from the sky prison and approached the 2 dark figures, reporting in a low voice, as young master predicted, Tang San indeed possesses an external spirit bone, and Tang Hao's 2 spirit bones are also remarkable. I have now excavated them all. He then presented the 3 spirit bones. The black-clad figure was none other than Snake Spear Douluo. The other 2 figures were Qian Renxue and Thorny Porpoise Douluo. Qian Renxue gazed at the spirit bones in her hands, unable to calm down. She murmured, Father, I have avenged you. Qian Renxue sighed inwardly. Although Jin Zunji's actions were despicable, Jin Zunji was still her father. Although he didn't die directly at Tang Hao's hands, he did so indirectly. Tonight, they had finally avenged their grievances. Snake Spear Douluo and Thorny Porpoise Douluo were extremely pleased. They had originally proposed killing Tang Hao and his son directly. This was opposed by Qian Renxue, and the 2 men felt somewhat helpless, inwardly lamenting that their young master's kindness might not lead to great things. Tonight's actions put their minds at ease. The young master wasn't being merciful, he simply didn't want them and their son to die too easily. Old Pope, the young master has avenged you. Qian Renxue collected the 3 spirit bones and called out, Grandfathers, you have performed a great service in this matter. Tang Hao's 2 spirit bones cannot be used publicly for the time being. I will write to Grandfather later and have him personally select 2 spirit bones for you at the Spirit Hall. Also, transfer all those involved back to Spirit City tonight and reward them for their great achievements. Yes, young master, the 2 Snake Spear Douluos were delighted. What great achievement! Wasn't this just a free kill? This was simply too good to be true. Qian Renxue was equally delighted. Tang San, oh Tang San, let's see how you can turn things around, protagonist. Overthrow the spirit wall? Qian Renxue will never let you complete your plan, and I will never allow you to harm that woman, even though she's a blind lunatic. Speaking of which, if Bibi Dong knew what Qian Renxue had done tonight, she would surely be deeply relieved. Of course. Bibi Dong couldn't think of this at the moment. She was drinking with Liu Erlong. Even though everyone had left the blind Douluo group, who was still the leader? Whose eyes were the blindest? Tonight, the answer would be revealed. After a few rounds of drinks, Liena, Ning Rongrong, and their group had gathered around. Under the pretext of drinking, everyone was rallying behind someone they liked. This completely overwhelmed Bibi Dong and Liu Erlong, who were about to surrender. More, Liu Erlong gushed over 2 bottles, still dripping down her lips. Bibi Dong followed suit, but, out of respect for the Pope, she couldn't follow Liu Erlong's lead and spill the wine everywhere. Liena, somewhat defensively, said, "Senior Erlong, my teacher always finishes everything he drinks. You can't spill it, huh?" Liu Erlong sneered, "I'll drink 2 more bottles to make up for it." "Is that okay?" Jiangsu hesitated. "Dean, how about we call it a draw tonight and rematch another day?" Su Chen nodded slightly. "I think you two are both pretty much done today. How about we meet again another day?" "No," they both said in unison. As Liu Erlong spoke, she walked directly to Su Chen and put her arm around his shoulders. "I came to see you today. Why don't you drink?" Su Chen looked at her strangely, thinking, "Good. You're already on your way, already arm in arm. Are you planning to become my sister next? I'll have a drink with you." As Su Chen spoke, Bibi Dong glanced over, her brows raised slightly. Have a drink with her? Not giving the Spirit Hall Pope any respect? Su Chen noticed Bibi Dong's look and added, "Let's have another drink with Sister Dong." Ding. Diary, recording the wonderful time travel experience, rewards distributed. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. All spirit rings have their age increased by 1,000 years. Congratulations to the host for receiving the random reward. Soul power increased by 1 level. While Su Chen was drinking, the diary rewards were also distributed. Liu Erlong watched Su Chen finish 4 bottles in a row before finally letting him go and laughing. "I'm so happy today. Liu Erlong, have finally moved on. I'm ready to embrace my new life. Fuck that bastard Uzia gang. I'm done with him from now on." Ha ha ha, ugh. Everyone looked at him strangely. There was no doubt about it. Everyone could see that Liu Erlong had already lost. Bibi Dong's expression was complicated. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. Liu Erlong seemed to have no problem with this. It didn't involve the diary copy. "Bibi Dong, I tell you, Uzia Gang is a scumbag, he is a coward. Do you know what he did a few days ago? He came to see me a few days ago. He is no longer a man. He actually came to see me." Ha 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 ha. Liu Erlong was laughing, but everyone knew very well that this was her despair in a relationship, and it was also her way of venting her inner depression. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210, The Third Reward. Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong was also dazed, listening to Liu Erlong's words, afraid she'd drunkenly spill the diary copy. "Liu Erlong, you win tonight. Let Nana find you a place to rest." "Rest," Liu Erlong said, bewildered. "What do you mean by rest? We're not finished yet. I still have a score to settle with Su Chen." "Where's that bastard Su Chen? Where's that bastard Su Chen?" Everyone's expressions turned complicated. Good grief. He's truly drunk. If you weren't, how dare he call Su Chen a bastard to his face? This is the diary's owner, the man who had crippled Tang Hao. Hadn't he been right there? Su Chen, too, looked at her with frustration. Of course, he wouldn't argue with Liu Erlong. He stood up, looking at her in confusion, and asked, "What score do you want to settle with me? Damn it. The jerk is Uzia Gang, what the hell are you settling with me?" Liu Erlong angrily demanded, "Are you still pretending? The first time we met in Xiandao City, when we fought, you put something inside me. I've been feeling strangely cold ever since." Everyone? It was already late, time for bed, but after hearing what Liu Erlong said, they weren't sleepy anymore. Nagging. Su Chen suddenly realized. When they first met Liu Erlong, he had deliberately put it in there, PFFT. He had deliberately injected Qian Renxue's internal energy into Liu Erlong. Back then, he'd treated Liu Erlong like someone on Yu Ziyagang's side, so he'd done it on purpose. Is that so? I'll help you solve it tomorrow, and I guarantee that for a few days every month in the future, you'll be cared for like you would be with Sophie. Liu Erlong was so angry that she couldn't hold back and said, "You bastard, you really did it on purpose. I guess you did it on purpose. If I hadn't come to Wuhan City to find you, would I have been in excruciating pain for a few days every month? Bastard, I'm going to duel with you." "How?" Bibi Dong said unhappily. "That's really funny. Can you beat him?" Jiang Zhu pulled Liu Erlong and shouted, "Dean, forget it. Su Chen said he would help you solve it tomorrow. No, I must duel with him. I must fight him one-on-one." Su Chen looked at Xiao and the others and shouted, "Zhuqing and Xiao, you go with Jiang Zhu and arrange for her to rest." Zhu Zhuqing and the others nodded and stepped forward to support Liu Erlong. But Liu Erlong remained unyielding. "Su Chen, I challenge you to a duel. If you're a man, fight me. If you dare not use that uncanny power of yours, I'll beat you to pulp." Su Chen grumbled, "I won't fight you tonight, but it's no exaggeration to say that even if I don't use any techniques, and simply use my spirit power and soul skills, you still can't beat me." "Bullshit. If I can't defeat a level 30+ soul master like you, I'll just throw myself into the sea and drown." Su Chen's gaze focused, and his martial spirit instantly possessed him. Black, red, 2 gold, and red, 3 gold, soul rings illuminated around him. Shui Binger, Jiang Zhu, and the others were stunned. 100,000-year soul ring? But why was Su Chen's 100,000-year soul ring rimmed with gold? Liu Erlong was also bewildered. "How old is this spirit ring?" Su Chen said calmly. 200,000 years, 300,000 years. "Let me ask you, my third spirit skill has the power of 300,000 years in one punch. Can you withstand it? Come and see if I can withstand it." Liu Erlong was indeed drunk. If she hadn't been, she certainly wouldn't have dared risk her life. "Pa." Su Chen was now furious. He raised his hand and slapped Liu Erlong's hips, saying angrily, "Next time, don't drink and sit at the dog table. If you really want to die, that's totally fine. I'll kill you right now and then resurrect you." "Seriously?" Liu Erlong said excitedly. "If I kill you, can I still be resurrected? Oh my god, if that's the case, I really want to try it. What is it like to die?" Okay. Su Chen was so angry that he laughed. "Believe me, you've already died once. When you wake up tomorrow, you'll experience what it feels like to die." "You said it," Liu Erlong said, holding out her hand. "Su Chen? Everyone? Pink, 6. Su Chen reached out his hand and made a pinky promise with Liu Erlong, leaving the women in the room stunned. "This? Tomorrow, when you, Liu Erlong, wake up, you'll experience more than just death. You'll experience a life worse than death. Instance rewards. Congratulations to Bo Saxi for having the most name mentioned in the diary. Reward, add 1,000 years to all your spirit rings. Congratulations to Liu Erlong for having your name randomly selected in the diary. Reward, increase your spirit power by 1 level. Congratulations to Bibi Dong for being the lucky audience member who can customize a diary theme once." Before the party ended, the diary instance rewards were distributed. Bibi Dong read the diary entry and instantly clenched her fists in excitement. "It's here. It's finally here. I've been waiting for this day for so long. Tomorrow, I, Bibi Dong, will learn how to make gunpowder. I, Bibi Dong, will unify the continent. Dignity lies only on the edge of a sword. Truth lies only within the range of a cannon. I, Bibi Dong, will become the eternal empress of Douluo continent. All under heaven belongs to me." Ho ha ho ha. If Su Chen hadn't been there, if there hadn't been so many people present, Bibi Dong would have definitely delivered a classic villain laugh. Equally delighted was Liu Erlong. Though she drank too much, the intoxication had only loosened her inhibitions, allowing her to become playful. She could still see the diary copy rewards. Ho ha, happy, I'm going to take 2 more bottles back to drink in bed. The other women were speechless. One was Ho Wu. The other was Liu Erlong. These two really had a knack for getting things done, always getting rewards out of nowhere. Oh, right. They seemed to have similar personalities, both the type of girls who loved to laugh and had a good time. Huh? Liena and Ling Yuan were suddenly startled when they saw the diary copy rewards. The third reward was Bibi Dong. They were now deeply worried. If Bibi Dong learned how to make gunpowder, Based on what Su Chen had described, she'd completely let loose. The spirit hall is in danger. Elsewhere, a sea-girl Douluo, resting in a small town, saw the diary copy rewards and angrily exclaimed, "Damn Liu Erlong, she's just as annoying as the Towu, always taking the second reward from other people's topics." Bo Saxi glanced at the sea-girl and said calmly, "It's okay, most of the diary copy rewards are based on personal luck. There's nothing any of us can do about it." Chapter 211 I treat you as my aunt, but you. Aquilid said with a gloomy expression, "High Priest, you've been looking at the diary copy rewards for so long, haven't you discovered anything yet?" Bo Saxi asked in confusion. "What?" Aquilid replied seriously, "The first reward is fixed. It's the same no matter who gets it. Even if it's a spirit beast, it adds 10,000 years to their cultivation, equivalent to 1,000 years for each of the 10 rings, but the second reward is random. If you're lucky enough, perhaps the High Priest can get something without sacrificing anything." Bo Saxi looked peculiar. This. Aquilid was insane. "High Priest, if you keep talking like that, you're killing the conversation." At the prince's mansion, Qian Renxue frowned upon seeing the diary copy rewards. She'd gotten the third reward. This? Su Chen had previously told them that Bibi Dong was unreliable and had even written in her diary that she wanted to destroy the spirit hall, and even the entire world. Now that Bibi Dong had received the third reward, I'm afraid tomorrow she'll be asking about the production of gunpowder. Crucial. Bibi Dong wasn't the only one in possession of the diary copy. If Bibi Dong inquired about it, it wouldn't be long before the entire continent knew how to make gunpowder. Tang San's hidden weapons were already so powerful, and the gunpowder Su Chen spoke of was definitely not bad. The world of Douluo continent was about to change. Of course, this was also something Qian Renxue had absolutely no way of dealing with. Two flowers bloom, each with its own beauty. Liena and Ling Yuan accompanied Bibi Dong back to the spirit hall, and they remained silent the entire way. Bibi Dong, excited, said in a deep voice, "Tomorrow I'll know how to make gunpowder. It will resonate with the heavens and the earth. When it's adapted for military use, our spirit hall army will be unstoppable. Nana, it won't be long before you become the holy maiden of our spirit empire, second only to the emperor. Are you happy?" This. Liena's eyes were a little conflicted, not so much joy as worry. She hesitated, then finally asked, "Teacher, are you not going to do what Su Chen wrote in his diary?" Ling Yuan also looked at Liena with a strange look. "Isn't this a bit abrupt?" Bibi Dong's face faltered, and she said unhappily, "Nana, don't you trust the teacher?" "I do." Liena was helpless, lowering her head. "Logically, I definitely trust you, but this situation is very complicated. I'm completely worried that you'll blow up the Douluo continent." Bibi Dong glanced at Ling Yuan and Liena, then said seriously, "I told you before, the diary copy has protective powers. It has already purified the evil thoughts of the Rakshasa god from my mind. Not only does the Rakshasa god's evil thoughts not affect me, but every time they appear, they are immediately purified by the diary copy. The diary copy has a purifying effect. Haven't you noticed?" Bibi Dong was speechless. "The diary copy is so magical, with so many functions, how come you haven't noticed it?" Liena and Ling Yuan were even more speechless. "If you keep saying this, we'll be even more suspicious of your mental health. Are there so many minor issues? What psychopath would claim to be ill?" The three of them remained silent the entire way. Bibi Dong knew these two still didn't believe her. How could she prove herself to them and reassure them? Well, time will tell. The road wasn't far. The three of them reached the spirit hall's main gate. Bibi Dong stopped and said calmly, "Let's stop here, Nana, you should get some rest tonight. We'll have some guests coming to Spirit City tomorrow, and we'll need you to help entertain them." "Okay." Liena nodded heavily and replied, "Then, teacher, you and Aunt Lingyan should go back and rest." Bibi Dong nodded slightly. Lingyan then said, "Then, Your Holiness, you should go back and rest. Nana and I will be leaving first." "Bibi Dong? Liena?" Bibi Dong and the other two were a bit bewildered by this. "You, Ling Yuan, haven't you always lived in the spirit hall? If you don't go back to rest, what else do you want to do?" Ling Yuan, however, remained calm and said seriously, "Your Majesty, please go in. I'll go back to see Nana off." Bibi Dong glanced at Ling Yuan speechlessly. "What are you planning, little slut?" Even Poseidon, far away on Sea God Island, knew exactly what she was up to. Of course. Bibi Dong, seeing through everything but not saying anything, simply walked in. Liena looked at Ling Yuan with a strange expression and said, "Auntie Ling Yuan, you don't have to see me off. I haven't drunk much, and it's not far. I can walk back in a few steps, it's okay. I'll take a walk with you," Ling Yuan said, pulling Liena back with him. Halfway, Ling Yuan spoke frankly, "Nana, there's something Auntie wants to tell you," Liena replied. "Is it about the teacher? I'll write to Xiaoxia tomorrow about the teacher's matter. If the teacher really wants to destroy the spirit hall, Xiaoxia will rush back to stop her." Ling Yuan shook her head slightly and said, "It's not about that. You know, it's not easy for Auntie to come here all these years. From the outside, Auntie is a titled Douluo and an elder of the spirit hall. But Auntie's strength among the titled Douluo is not strong, and she doesn't have any big families to support her. After all these years of working hard to gain a foothold in the spirit hall, Auntie feels a little tired," Liena said seriously. "Auntie Ling Yuan, Xiaoxia and I have discussed it. If the teacher really wants to do something, we will definitely stop her. You don't need to retire, and you don't need to leave the spirit hall." "What?" Ling Yuan said in confusion. "When did I say I wanted to leave the spirit hall? So, what do you mean, Auntie?" Liena looked at Ling Yuan, bewildered. "Did you say you were tired and wanted to quit spirit hall?" Ling Yuan said a little sheepishly, "What I said just now was actually to tell you, Auntie, I'm tired and I need someone to lean on," Liena said seriously. "Auntie Ling Yuan is Nana's elder. From now on, Nana will always respect and protect you." Ling Yuan's face faltered. "The auntie I'm talking about is a woman's leaning on." Liena paused, then said, "Oh, indeed, it's certainly not easy for Auntie to be alone for so many years. It's time to find a partner. But why are you telling me this? Oh my god, Auntie, you, Liena was stunned for a moment. "What the hell? I treat you like an aunt, and you actually want to be my sister? You can be? You can be? Ling Yuan, Nana, from today on, we will talk to each other. I will call you sister and you will call me aunt." "Sister, what are you looking for? Auntie will help you find it." Chapter 212, completely numb. At this moment, Liena was completely bewildered. Ling Yuan, looking a little embarrassed, turned to glance at Liena and nodded silently. Time passed slowly. On the street, Liena stopped and stared at Ling Yuan quietly for a long moment before she replied, "Auntie, are you serious? This is outrageous. Auntie Ling Yuan, you're actually giving it to me for free? You're actually trying to taste some tender grass, even from my own family. How are we going to get along in the future?" Ling Yuan said calmly, "I'm serious, we've read the diary, and Nana, you should know it too. Auntie has a mortal danger ahead of her. If I don't do anything, I don't know what will happen, or whether I can avoid it. Su Chen is a good man. He's young, handsome, and very capable. Auntie wants to try my best to win him over. That way, I'll have someone to rely on in the future." Liena fell silent upon hearing this. If it were Qian Renxue, she wouldn't say anything, but, "Auntie Ling Yuan, you're not young anymore, and you're actually trying to get a piece of me. Auntie Ling Yuan, I probably can't help much with this. After all, I can't influence things like this. Everything still depends on Su Chen." Ling Yuan smiled and said, "Nana, do you think I'm unattractive and can't win him on my own? Although I'm an old girl, I've seen more than you have. I'm confident I can win him on my own." Liena looked at Ling Yuan with a strange look. Two words popped into her mind: premeditated, well-prepared, and unethical. Liena hesitated and said, "Auntie, how will we divide it later?" Liena still felt a little uneasy. After all, she and Ling Yuan were of different generations. Liena was an orphan, and people like Ling Yuan and Zhuge Douluo had watched her grow up. This made Liena feel uneasy, as if her teacher, Bibi Dong, was getting the same piece of her. Ling Yuan said seriously, "Auntie has thought about it. From now on, you can continue to call me Auntie when we're out and about. At home, I'll call you sister." Liena? It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Okay, then Auntie, when are you going to take action? I guess you've noticed. Everyone at home, including Shuibinger and her sisters, harbors lustful thoughts. Luckily, Su Chen is strong-willed and takes matters of the heart seriously. Otherwise, the harem would have exploded. Ling Yuan pondered for a moment, then replied, "Tonight, Nana, Auntie will stay with you tonight. Go find Su Chen and tell him I have something to ask her. Tell him to come to my room. Whether you can take down Auntie Su Chen will depend on your strength, Don't worry, you've helped Auntie. From now on, Auntie will definitely push for you to be the head of the harem. Even if the young master or His Holiness the Pope come, Auntie will unwaveringly support you as the head of the harem. Liena? It's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. But then she said. Su Chen retired to bed early. He had important matters to attend to tomorrow. Because Liena was to be conferred the title of Holy Maiden of the Spirit Hall the day after tomorrow, Su Chen wanted to spend the day preparing a small amount of gunpowder and making firecrackers as a surprise for Liena, also for the occasion. Just then, the door opened, and Liena quietly entered. Are Lingling and Yanzi back yet? Zhuqing isn't here either. Hearing Liena's words, Su Chen replied calmly. I have to go out early tomorrow morning, so I'm going to go to bed early tonight. Oh, I see. Liena felt a little disappointed. It wasn't that she didn't want to help, but Su Chen didn't have the time. Just as Liena was about to turn around and leave, Su Chen grabbed her. Since you're here, have dinner before you leave. Liena snuggled into Su Chen's arms and whispered, is this dinner a good one? Her delicate face was filled with allure and allure. Kung Pao chicken, Su Chen said thoughtfully, the chef who cooked this dish is quite serious. As for whether the chicken breast, cucumber, carrot and peanuts are decent, I don't know. Huh? Liena curled her lips and said, in that case, I'll try it first. If the ingredients are not fresh and not decent enough, I will refuse to pay for it. Change the dish. Su Chen hesitated and said, I'm scared just thinking about this dish. Change it to Jiaolong out of the sea, abalone braised pork, or daoka roast chicken. The midnight snack began. Liena was halfway through her meal when she suddenly stopped and said, oops, I was so busy staying to eat, I actually forgot I came to see you for something. Aunt Lingyin asked you to come over to the room in the corner. Su Chen was also confused and asked, now, we're halfway through making supper. How can I go to her in this state? Liena wiped her mouth and said, go quickly, maybe. Anyway, go and see. If you can't eat there, come back and eat. Huh? Su Chen's face was a little strange. Oh my god. Are you really going to use this to test the cotters? Oh no. They found my weakness. Next door to the next door. Ning Rongrong lay in bed, a look of melancholy on her face. Zhuqing, didn't you ask me to secretly enhance your power? Now that you're back, can't I show it? Is Su Chen drunk? Zhu Zhuqing shook her head slightly. No, Su Chen has something to do tomorrow and has to get up early. Maybe tomorrow night or the night after tomorrow. Ning Rongrong nodded slightly, thought for a moment, and said, then let's wait 2 days. Xiao Wu asked from the side. Zhuqing, what about me? Should I show it during my morning exercises tomorrow? Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Xiao Wu and said helplessly, Su Chen will probably be out before dawn. He won't even be going to the martial arts arena, so why should I show it? You should wait a little longer. Yes, Xiao Wu nodded vigorously. Elsewhere, Du Yan and Yi Lingling had sent Shui Binger and her sister back to rest near the academy. They were still awake, sitting together to discuss their gains. Shui Binger looked at Zhu Wu and asked, what do you think? Zhu Wu pondered, we've gained something. After all, we've become somewhat familiar with Su Chen, and we've also become familiar with Du Yan, Yi Lingling, and the others. This way, we can go visit them whenever we have time. Or, if we can't live directly at Su Chen's house, we can rent a house next door. The sisters nodded in agreement as Zhu Wu spoke. Shui Binger also nodded slightly, saying, Liena and I had a few words today. They can actually sense our intentions. The sisters were stunned upon hearing this. Huh? Are we exposed now? If we're exposed so quickly, they'll definitely be wary and reject us. Then wouldn't we have any chance? Shui Binger thought for a moment and explained, no, Liena didn't mean that. She just had a few simple words with me. As for this, her attitude is that everything depends on Su Chen's opinion. Chapter 213, Getting There First. Then again, the old ones are the wisest. Auntie is still Auntie, just like his uncle is still his uncle. While the other girls were still pondering how to give themselves away for free, Auntie had already made a decisive move. And so, Su Chen hesitated as to whether to just go in. Finally, at the door, he politely knocked and called softly. Auntie Lingyin, in the room. Candlelight flickered. Lingyin was wearing a thin black lace nightgown. Her beautiful legs and feet were long, straight, and her curvy figure perfectly displayed her aunt's charm. Hearing Su Chen's voice, Lingyin walked to the door and opened it. Su Chen saw Lingyin, dressed in a black lace nightgown with a touch of white above, revealing her long, beautiful legs and feet. He swallowed silently. What cadre could withstand such a test? Come in and sit down, Ling Yuan's voice was gentle. Su Chen nodded slightly and walked in nervously. But he found. The room was dim, lit only by 2 candles. On the table sat a bottle of red wine and 2 exquisite wine glasses. Ling Yuan pulled Su Chen to sit at the table and whispered, I didn't have a good drink with you tonight, so I'm inviting you to join me. Do you have time to join me? No. I don't, Su Chen thought to himself. After all, he had a heavy workload tomorrow. But then he said, yes. Ling Yuan smiled easily, picked up the red wine, and poured 2 glasses. In the candlelight, her cheeks seemed to flush slightly, making her look particularly alluring. Su Chen probably understood. A friend of his had seen a Korean movie called My Mom's Friend and said there were 7 or 8 sequels. This was enough to prove Ling Yuan's allure at that moment. Ling Yuan handed the wine glass to Su Chen and said softly, when I was in Soto City, I am very grateful to you for saving me from Tang Hao. I offer you a glass. Su Chen took a sip and replied softly, it's a small matter, I was just joking with Aunt Ling Yuan before. I don't need Aunt to repay me in any way. It's just a small favor from me. Ling Yuan looked at Su Chen and asked, do you think Aunt is old? Su Chen shook his head and said sincerely, no, Aunt is not old and very beautiful. When we were chatting tonight, I actually said that although I will deceive many girls, I hope to deceive them for a lifetime, not just once. Ling Yuan was very satisfied with what she heard. She kept looking at Su Chen with a bit of expectation in her eyes, and seemed to be worried about being rejected. After hesitating for a long time, she finally asked, can you deceive Aunt for a lifetime? Su Chen was silent after hearing this, looking at Ling Yuan quietly, and replied after a while, Aunt Ling Yuan, are you serious? Ling Yuan nodded heavily, took a big sip of red wine, and began to say, I'm not afraid of you laughing at me. But I'm actually still a girl at my age. When I was young, I had many suitors, but none of them caught my eye. After all, I've always been very talented. To reach the title Douluo level, I devoted almost all my energy to cultivation. After that, I realized there were no more men who caught my eye. Su Chen nodded silently. Ling Yuan's rise to the top of the title Douluo realm was a testament to both her talent and hard work. As for Ling Yuan, finding a man she admired and could marry after becoming a title Douluo was even more difficult. Those with talent were middle-aged men, while those without would not even be considered by a title Douluo. Ling Yuan drank the wine in the glass, poured another one, and slowly revealed her heart. I have actually regretted some of these years. The strength of the title Douluo did not make me feel much faster. If I could choose again, I would choose to slow down and enjoy life without surprise. I'm tired. I want to find a man who can lie to me all my life, can give me happiness, can let me be a carefree little woman, and help me carry everything on my shoulders. The words fell. Ling Yuan sat down next to Su Chen, resting her head gently on his chest. She leaned in quietly, muttering, if you don't mind my age, then come and lie to me for the rest of my life. Su Chen whispered, since I want you to lie to me for the rest of your life, if I ever regret it, it'll be too late. No regrets. Ling Yuan's tone was gentle, but her determination was clear. I won't regret it, unless you stop lying to me. Of course, I don't think you'll do that, because my kindness is something you can't experience from those young girls. Su Chen seemed lost in thought. Ling Yuan then gently asked, want a drink? Su Chen nodded slightly and raised her glass. Ling Yuan intercepted her mid-drinking, taking the first drink. However, she didn't take much of the red wine. It all flowed down her lips, trickling down her fair neck and into the crevices of her milky white skin. You can drink now. Su Chen's heart trembled at the words, and he said in a deep voice, okay, auntie, then I'll start drinking now. Home drink. Ling Yuan replied softly, closing her eyes. Oh wait, why are you still calling me auntie? I should call you sister, Ling Yuan said in a trembling voice. Su Chen paused and said seriously, no, in certain situations, I have to be polite, so I must call you auntie. Auntie, you also have to call me Ziyachin in certain important situations. Do you understand, auntie? Ling Yuan gritted her teeth and nodded gently, whispering, auntie understands. Ziyachin, auntie, give Ziyachin another glass of wine. Seeing this, Su Chen said, then have another sip, together in the backyard. At this moment, Ning Rongrong, who had just fallen asleep, turned over, draping her long legs around Xiao Wu's waist, muttering, what a fool's Hu King is. Did they say Su Chen had something to do tomorrow? Why is he going to see him again? I'm here. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly opened her eyes and responded. Xiao Wu sat up, her bunny ears perked up, listening carefully, a hint of confusion in her eyes. Strange, the voices today feel so strange, really? Ning Rongrong heard this and also got up from the bed, walked to the window, opened it, and listened carefully to the midnight symphony. Huh, Zhuqing, it seems we've been beaten to it. Zhu Zhuqing's face flickered with surprise at this, and she listened carefully as well. However, this voice was not the one they were familiar with. How could this voice be described? It sounded like a long-suppressed indulgence. Even though the owner of the voice was trying hard to restrain herself, it was still audible that she was unleashing her primordial power. So who was the owner of the voice? Zhu Zhuqing was puzzled. Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu were also confused. Although many people were greedy, no one seemed to be taking any action. How could someone have succeeded? Something was wrong. Chapter 214 The Spirit Kite Takes Off. As the saying goes, hesitation leads to failure, decisiveness brings success. The girl is reserved, while the ant is passionate and unrestrained. Liena's house is a little far away, but with her current strength, she can still hear some of the sounds. Impressive? At this moment, Liena was also a little surprised. Aunt Lingyan succeeded directly. Auntie's charm is still endless. The next moment, all the women who possessed the diary copy were shocked. The diary copy reward had arrived. Congratulations Lingyan, triggering the hidden quest reward. Receive, soul power increased by 10 levels. Liena's eyes widened instantly when she saw the diary copy reward. No way? Aunt Lingyan is already a titled Douluo, and she can still obtain 10 levels of soul power. Doesn't this mean she will soar into the realm of godhood? Wait. There are still 20 levels of rewards. Even if she becomes a god directly, there are still more than 20 levels left. What is Aunt Lingyan thinking now? For a moment, Du Yuan and Yi Lingling also slipped out of the room and ran directly to the bed, sitting on either side of Liena. Sister Nana, did you see the reward? Aunt Lingyan, she's already over level 90, and she actually received a level 10 soul power reward. Isn't that too terrifying? Do you think Aunt Lingyan will directly become a god? Liena thought for a moment, looked at the two and replied, probably not. Just like when we reach level 30 soul power, our realm will be stuck. If we obtain another soul ring or a god position, Aunt Lingyan's soul power will immediately break through. That's what it means to truly become a god. Du Yuan heard this and said with some regret, that's such a shame. I was looking forward to seeing Aunt Lingyan directly become a god. Yi Lingling was a little confused. This is terrifying enough, although Aunt Lingyuan did not become a god directly, but Aunt Lingyuan's real soul power is so much higher. She is now equivalent to a quasi-god of level 100. As long as she obtains a divine soul ring, she can immediately become a true god. Also, Aunt Lingyuan, a quasi-god of level 100, has a real soul power level much higher. In this way, her soul power is even greater. Aunt Lingyuan is now the most powerful person on the continent. Even Poseidon a few days ago was no match for Aunt Lingyuan. Liena and Du Yuan were also stunned in an instant. Oh my god, so powerful. If that's the case, who can beat Aunt Lingyan? Yi Lingling looked at Liena and the others, analyzing seriously. I'm afraid there really is no one. For example, before we both achieved level 30 soul power, let's say Yanzi and I were both level 39 soul masters. After I received the level 30 soul power bonus, although I might appear to be only level 40, my true soul power is level 69. Do you think Yanzi has a chance of defeating me in this situation? Liena nodded heavily and said, not to mention the difference between level 99 and level 100, Aunt Lingyan has really made it. Auntie, you've really taken off. Elsewhere, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, and Ning Rongrong were just getting ready for bed. Suddenly, they heard about the reward for the diary copy. Huh? It's Lingyan Douluo. Goodness, Lingyan Douluo is our aunt. How could she be competing with us for a man? And she's already snatched him away. Zhu Zhuqing muttered. Strange, could it be that Su Chen's excuse for going out early tomorrow morning is just an excuse? Wait, Zhu Zhuqing's expression suddenly tightened. She looked at Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu and said, Lingyan Douluo is already a level 93 titled Douluo, how come he's also been rewarded with level 10 soul power? Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu were also momentarily stunned. Oh my god, doesn't this mean Lingyan Douluo has become a god? Is this the legendary broad day ascension to godhood? Su Chen is truly terrifying. Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Xiao Wu and the others, saying seriously, it seems becoming a god isn't that simple. I've heard Su Chen say before that level 100 is just the standard for godhood. To truly become a god, one needs a godly position. This can be a divine inheritance, or it can be a path to self-deification, but with Aunt Lingyan's upcoming soul power, this won't be difficult for her. Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong were both envious. Too strong. We are just trash at level 20 or 30, and we are still working hard to become titled Douluo, but Aunt Lingyan, you actually ascended to become a god in broad daylight. When can we become a titled Douluo in broad daylight? Pa. When can we become a titled Douluo? Ho Wu and Jiangzi were also leaning on the window at this moment, staring blankly at the room in the corner. Ho Wu muttered, it's terrible, Aunt Lingyan was already level 93, and today she got level 10 soul power. Even if she didn't become a god and break through to level 103, she would still be at level 99.999, right? Jiangzi also said with a complicated expression, too strong. With Aunt Lingyan's strength, even Her Majesty Bibi Dong might not be her opponent now. Tisk tisk. Ho Wu pursed her lips and said, Auntie Lingyan still hasn't received the reward of 20 levels of soul power. This guy. The remaining 20 levels of soul power are purely wasted. If only you could give it to me. Hell, Jiangzi said unhappily. Go to sleep. Dreams can tell. Ho Wu looked at Jiangzi and said seriously, believe me, with my efforts, I will definitely be able to catch up with Su Chen and get the reward of 30 levels of soul power. In the room, Ling Yuan, who was practicing the martial soul fusion technique with Su Chen, was suddenly overjoyed and hurriedly shouted, wait a minute, stop, Su Chen, little Su, little Chen, little darling, Auntie is taking off, Auntie is really taking off this time. Upon hearing this, Su Chen accelerated the practice of the martial soul fusion technique, with no intention of stopping. Auntie, didn't you take off just now? You've been flying all the time, why are you shouting about taking off now? Kunpeng martial soul fusion technique, flying together. Ling Yuan's voice trembled, take off, Auntie took off again this time, the fusion skill of the fiery Ling Yuan martial soul, flying together, spirit hall. Bibi Dong had just finished taking a shower, wearing light-colored pajamas, sitting on the dressing table, gently combing her hair. In fact, in her heart, Bibi Dong was complaining about Ling Yuan, you little slut, are you really so shameless? You said you were going to send Nana off, but I don't think you planned to come back at all. You said you are older than me, do you have the nerve to eat a young grass with Nana? Then Bibi Dong was directly shocked. Oh my god. Ling Yuan actually got the reward of 10th level soul power? Chapter 215 This soul power is stronger than Aunt Dong's. Bibi Dong was completely dumbfounded. Ling Yuan already had level 93 spirit power, yet he'd also received a 10 level spirit power boost. There should be 2 more 10-level spirit power bonuses to come. If it were me, after completing the divine exam and becoming a god, I'd instantly reach level 130 spirit power. Wouldn't that put me on par with the first generation of Rakshasa gods? This? If that were the case, then what the hell was that, Tang San? Your uncle, the sea god, is merely my equal. Why should I be your stepping stone? Trash. Bibi Dong, am not targeting anyone. Everyone reading this diary is trash. The more Bibi Dong thought about it, the more restless she became. She was truly thrilled. Yet, she felt helpless. Bibi Dong sighed deeply, combed her hair, and lay down on the bed, gently rubbing her forehead. Go to sleep. Su Chen is Nana's man. At night, Bibi Dong had a dream. In a dream, Bibi Dong dreamed that at the most innocent and brilliant age, she met someone. This person was no longer Yu Zia Gang, the cowardly scumbag. Instead, it was Su Chen. Upon learning that Su Chen, whom Bibi Dong loved, was a mere level 15 loser, Jin Zunji forced him to leave Spirit City. Not only did Su Chen not leave, but he displayed immense strength, leaving Jin Zunji unable to care for herself, and then he gracefully departed Spirit Hall with her. Amidst a sea of flowers, they held a romantic wedding. That night, they spent the entire night in love. They subsequently enjoyed daily bliss and had a pair of beautiful and adorable daughters, Su Renxue and Su Liena. Qian Renxue? Who Liena? However, laughter in the dream, tears upon waking. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go as planned. When Bibi Dong woke, not only was her cold pillow wet, but her pants and bedsheets were soaked as well. Bibi Dong's dream was clearly not a serious one. The prince's mansion. Qian Renxue also sat up in shock from her dream, looking at the diary copy's prompt, her face filled with shock. Elder Ling, has he also achieved level 10 soul power? How terrifying. Qian Renxue couldn't help but swallow her saliva. If that was the case, Elder Ling's current strength was probably no weaker than that woman's. Excellent. Elder Ling is now Su Chen's woman, and her strength has increased so greatly, she will definitely help Nana. Even if that woman can master the manufacture of gunpowder, she will never be able to destroy the spirit hall again. In a small town hotel, Sea-Girl Douluo's legs had transformed back into fishtails. She was now lying in the large fish tank, sleeping. Suddenly, her expression changed. High Priest, did you see that? Another person has obtained level 10 spirit power. Do you think we can achieve level 30? Bo Sexy, half lying on the bed in her light blue pajamas, opened her eyes slightly and said, I don't know. For now, many of the women with copies of the diary are in Spirit City. They can communicate with each other, but we have no way of knowing. Sea-Girl Douluo nodded slightly, then hesitated and said, how about, let's do as I say? Let's just go to Spirit City and have some fun for a few days. Don't even think about rescuing Tang San. No, Bo Sexy refused without a second thought. Sea-Girl Douluo felt helpless. Someone had already obtained level 30 spirit power, and who knew how much their strength had increased. We still wanted to rescue Tang San? Knowing there was no result, we still tried to commit suicide. Lord Poseidon. I'm really sorry to ask, you must be one of the blind Douluo group, right? Wait, the sea maiden was grumbling inwardly when her face suddenly froze in shock, her entire body suffocating. Bo Sexy asked, puzzled, what's wrong with you? The sea maiden Douluo said seriously, High Priest, haven't we seen the name Ling Yuan before? Look through the previous diary entries. She's a title Douluo. What? Bo Sexy was instantly shocked as well. He checked the previous diary entries. Indeed. In the diary entries, Su Chen had previously complained about Ling Yuan. She really was a title Douluo. A title Douluo could actually receive a 10-level soul power boost? In that case, wouldn't Ling Yuan have directly become a 100th level quasi-god? Sea-Girl Douluo said sternly, High Priest, we must think of a solution. We must go find Su Chen, too. If we don't go now, it will be too late. If Bibi Dong attains level 30 soul power, then after she becomes a god, her strength will instantly reach level 130. I'm afraid it will be like our Lord Sea God. By then, even if we possess extraordinary abilities, our Sea God Island will surely be razed to the ground by the Spirit Hall. Bo Sexy's face was grim. She was seriously going to have a sleepless night. Speaking of which, many people were going to have a sleepless night. For example, Ling Yuan, who had just completed a spirit fusion technique with Su Chen, a joint flight, now lay on Su Chen's chest, looking both physically and mentally satisfied and exhausted. She said in a soft, lazy voice, Xiachen, Auntie wasn't kidding. I really took off. Su Chen said calmly, I know, you've already called me that many times. Ling Yuan, a little annoyed, gently pinched Su Chen and said, Auntie didn't mean to take off. Well, Auntie, I've been flying all the time. I was telling you about my strength. The moment I met you, I initiated the divine inheritance. So, I just completed the divine test, and my strength has reached the limit of the human world. Ling Yuan had already completed the spirit possession. She was half floating in the air, a pair of flaming wings behind her, 9 spirit rings ignited, and powerful spirit energy emanated from her. Huh? Su Chen looked at Ling Yuan in surprise. The gift from the book hadn't weakened her at all? Holy crap! This spirit power is even stronger than Auntie Dong's. Su Chen hurried forward to examine Ling Yuan's body. In an instant, he felt her spirit power was as boundless as the ocean. You really took off. Su Chen was also greatly shocked. What a joke. This book is giving a generous gift. I haven't even broken through level 40 yet. When will you pity me? Ling Yuan held Su Chen in her arms and half floated in the air. She kissed Su Chen on the mouth and whispered, Xiao Chen, Auntie has become so strong because of you. How do you want Auntie to repay you? Auntie will definitely listen to you. Congratulations Ling Yuan, you have triggered the hidden mission reward and obtained soul power increased by 10 levels. Su Chen listened to Ling Yuan's words, thought for a moment, and directly summoned his martial spirit to possess him. The wings of Kunpeng appeared behind him. He and Ling Yuan both floated in the air and said, I want to be like Auntie and take off together. Chapter 216, Death penalty can be escaped, living punishment cannot be escaped. Ling Yuan was a bit bewildered when she heard Su Chen's words. I don't have a diary, so how can I let you take off? However, Ling Yuan was also a smart ant. Seeing Su Chen hanging in mid-air like her, she instantly understood. Okay. You little rascal are better than me. So you mean flying while flying? In that case, I'll get the third reward first, and then take you with me to fly together. Congratulations, Ling Yuan, for triggering the hidden quest reward and obtaining soul power increased by 10 levels. Speaking of which, Ling Yuan and Su Chen both have spirits that can fly, and both can be possessed by spirits, with wings appearing behind them. But Su Chen is young after all, and Ling Yuan is far more experienced in flying. At this moment, she is carefully teaching Su Chen how to fly. Xiao Chen, if you've mastered the flying technique, we can try flying backwards, sideways, vertically, and even while riding. Su Chen was surprised to hear this. Auntie, you're worthy of being an ant. You can think of so many soul skills at once. This is my first time trying a flying spirit fusion technique. This is truly thrilling. The next day, morning dew condensed into a layer of white frost on the grass. Ling Yuan lay weakly on her bed, eyes closed, and fell into a sweet dream, clearly exhausted from practicing flying spirit fusion techniques with Su Chen. Of course, she had never slept so peacefully, nor had she ever felt so happy and sexually satisfied. She had finally experienced the joy of being a woman. As for Su Chen, he left before dawn, holding his waist. Last night's training, from the air shock to the crash, was truly difficult. Normally, Su Chen would have to rest and recuperate, but tomorrow was Hulina's enthronement ceremony, and he needed to create something today. He would celebrate for Hulina the following day. Look! Liu Erlong, who had drunk too much last night and only woke up at noon today, couldn't help but pat her head to clear her mind. Liu Erlong was just reacting when an awkward scene from last night suddenly popped up in her mind. She was actually going to challenge Su Chen in a duel? Then, more and more unbearable images flooded Liu Erlong's mind. It's over, I'm really going to die this time. Liu Erlong was stunned as she recalled the drunken scene. How could she face people? If all else failed, she would have to sneak back to Xiandao City. Knock knock. There was a knock on the door, and Jiangzu's voice came from outside. Dean, are you awake? I poured you some porridge. Hurry up and drink some. Liu Erlong regretted her words the moment she said them. She should have pretended to be asleep and quietly slipped away when no one was paying attention. Jiangzu, wait a moment. I'll just clean up and leave. Thankfully, Liu Erlong was straightforward. Even if she was too embarrassed to face anyone, she could still hold on if she adjusted her mindset. However, as she straightened her clothes and opened the door, she saw Jiangzu standing outside with porridge, along with Yi Lingling, Du Guyan, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, and Ho Wu. They were all staring at her. Bang! Liu Erlong blushed, and she reacted quickly, slamming the door shut. It's over. It's over. My lifelong reputation is at stake, and how will these little girls view me? Damn Su Chen, he's absolutely right. I'm truly experiencing death this time. Jiangzu stood outside, her face visibly embarrassed. Ho Wu called out, Senior Erlong, are you embarrassed to face us because you were drunk last night? Oh, don't dwell on that now. Hurry and read your diary. Something serious happened last night. Open the door, let's talk. Liu Erlong was speechless. Last night? What could have happened last night that could be worse than me getting drunk and embarrassing myself? Liu Erlong went to check her diary and discovered that Ling Yuan had gained 30 levels of soul power last night. Oh my god. That shameless little slut. When she came with Bibi Dong last night, I discovered she was having an affair with Su Chen, and it actually ended up happening. Wait, Liu Erlong was about to complain about Ling Yuan when it suddenly occurred to her, Ling Yuan is already over level 90, isn't she? How could she, like everyone else, have gained 30 levels of soul power? So, how much has Ling Yuan's strength improved now? Invincible. Liu Erlong pondered this, quickly pushing open the door and looking at the group, asking, where's Her Majesty Ling Yuan? Her Majesty Ling Yuan really did obtain level 30 spirit power. What's her current strength? Everyone listened to Liu Erlong's words and shook their heads slightly, saying, we don't know the specifics. Su Chen and Ling Yuan haven't been seen since early this morning. I guess they're asleep now, we're still waiting. Liu Erlong glanced at the group, finally settling on Yi Lingling, Du Yuyan, and Zhu Zhuqing. She asked, "Can you tell me how to obtain that level 30 spirit power?" Zhu Zhuqing and Yi Lingling remained silent. Du Yuyan bluntly refused, "No, Senior Erlong, forget about level 30 spirit power. Even if we told you, you wouldn't be able to obtain it. Even if we told you you could, we wouldn't tell you." Liu Erlong glanced at Du Yuyan speechlessly, understanding her meaning. She felt they were on a different side, belonging to Yu Zhigang and Tang San's faction. "Forget it, it's not too late to tell me later, once you trust me. Should we go wake Her Majesty Ling Yuan and ask her about the situation? Let's see how strong she is now." Everyone listened to this, their gazes finally turning to Yi Lingling, Du Yuyan, and Zhu Zhuqing, all sharing Liu Erlong's curiosity. Yi Lingling softly said, "Sister Ling Yuan and the others must be very tired last night. Let's wait until noon to find her." "Huh? Okay, then we'll wait." Although everyone was eager to see how much Ling Yuan's strength had improved, it was difficult to disturb her rest now. 2 flowers bloom, each showcasing its own beauty. Xiandao City. The Imperial Palace. Emperor Zhu Yi sat on the throne. Beneath him were the entire court, including the Crown Prince Zhuqing, Prince Zuxing, Douluo, Ning Fengzi, Flender, Yu Zhigang, and Tang Yuhu. In the center of the hall lay the frail and disheveled Tang Hao and his son. Emperor Zhu Yi said solemnly, "Tang San, although I am certain that you are a member of the Haoshan sect, you, the Haoshan sect, must not go too far and break into my palace and steal from the national treasury. This theft of the national treasury carries a death sentence, but not a life sentence. I will sentence you both to 2 years in prison. Are you both convinced?" If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. One day we will avenge this. Speaking of which, Tang Hao and Tang San were absolutely utterly unconvinced. Damn Emperor Zhu Yi. Damn Heaven Dao Empire. You've already met your end. You've plotted against us and dug out our soul bones. If we don't avenge this, we'll never have a good death in this lifetime. Tang Hao and Tang San looked at Emperor Zhu Yi with eyes filled with overwhelming hatred. Of course. Even though they hated him to the core, they dared not utter a single harsh word. It wasn't that they didn't have temper, but they were now like ants at the mercy of others. To speak harshly at this moment would be tantamount to seeking death. If it weren't for the testimony and guarantees of people like Tang Yuhu and Yu Zhigang, the two of them wouldn't even be qualified to stand trial and would have been dragged out and beheaded without a care. Despite their overwhelming hatred, Tang Hao and Tang San could only choose to endure it. 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west, don't bully the young and poor, of course. Tang Yuhu, Yu Zhigang, and the others were at their wits' end. They had already done their utmost. 2 years in prison was already a generous concession from the Xiandao imperial family. As for further leniency, it would require direct guarantees from powerful factions like the Haoshan sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yu Zhigang, a worthless man, couldn't possibly persuade the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. If Liu Erlong had stepped in, there might have been a chance, but Liu Erlong had long since turned her back on them. As for the Haoshan sect, Tang Yuhu had immediately informed them. However, the Haoshan sect had been secluded for years, and aside from sect master Tang Xiao, no one was likely willing to help him and his son. Seeing no one speak, Emperor Zhu Yi issued a decree. This matter is concluded. The grudges are settled today. Do not bring it up again. With that, Emperor Zhu Yi cast a meaningful glance at Zhuqing and Zhu Zing, clearly addressing them. However, to Tang Hao and Tang San, these words were a profound humiliation. Such outrage. Snowy night. One day, we will avenge this. Retreat. Upon hearing this, everyone saluted and withdrew. A group of heavenly prison guards also stepped forward to take Tang Hao and Tang San away. Yu Zhigang left the hall, his face gloomy, his fists clenched, and he muttered, 2 years, no, absolutely not. In 2.5 years, Xiao-san will be participating in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Competition. Wasting these 2 years will ruin Xiao-san's life. Flender's face was grim. Looks like this is a very good result now. Rescuing Xiao-san and the others now is probably beyond our capabilities. Yu Zhigang pondered for a moment, then quickly walked over to Tang Yuhu and whispered, Master Xuan, may I have a moment with you? Tang Yuhu hesitated, then nodded slightly. Ning Fengzi was puzzled. After Tang Yuhu and Yu Zhiagang left, he asked Zhuqing, King, what happened this time? Qian Renxue explained calmly, not long ago, Aunt Yuhu introduced Tang San and Tang Hao, father and son, to me. Their purpose is to get the national treasure of our Xiandao Empire, the vast sea universe cover, although I am the prince, but this national treasure is not something I can give away just by saying so. The conditions they offered are very tempting. Tang Hao and his son have served the prince's mansion for 10 years. I finally decided to put the national treasure back to the treasury and arrange for them to take it themselves. I don't know why. Uncle Zhuqing got the news and arranged people to ambush them, and things have calmed to this point. I see. Ning Fengzi fell silent after hearing this. Finally, he warned, King, the Haoshan sect must not be won over. Qian Renxue asked with a puzzled look on her face, why? Ning Fengzi sighed and said, King, you should also know that everything Prince Zhuqing does is actually instructed by His Majesty. But why does His Majesty do this? Because you are my disciple, and you are too close to the Seven Treasures glazed tile sect, I think. His Majesty is worried about your excessive power, and secondly, he is worried that sects like us will become powerful ministers in the future. The Seven Treasures glazed tile sect is already powerful enough, and adding the Haoshan sect to the mix, His Majesty probably can't tolerate it. Qian Renxue nodded heavily and said, Teacher, I understand. I actually have another question that I've been unable to figure out. Is Tang Hao's identity real? If their identities are fake, why would Aunt Yuhu and Master testify and guarantee them? If they were real, why would they surrender so humbly? That's why there are so many doubts here. Although I called Teacher here today, I didn't ask Teacher to plead for them. Ning Fengzi looked at his disciple, hesitated for a moment, and finally decided to speak. A lot has happened recently. Rongrong ran away from the Seven Treasures glazed tile sect a while ago and went to Shrek Academy in Flanders. King, do you know why Flanders and the others left Soto City and came to Xiandao City to join the Xiandao Royal Academy? Qian Renxue pretended to be curious and asked, Teacher, does this have anything to do with the authenticity of Tang Hao's identity? While I was investigating Tang Hao and Tang San, I also investigated Flanders and the others, but there are no results yet. Ning Fengzi said seriously, a very powerful genius has appeared on the continent. He has reached the strength of a titled Douluo before he even reached the age of 20, and he is also a leader among titled Douluos. Rongrong wrote that this young man is named Su Chen, and he is considered half a member of the Spirit Hall. The reason Flanders and the others left Soto City was because they were driven away by this young man. Tang Hao's identity is true. The reason they were in this predicament today is because during the Shrek Academy battle, Tang Hao was severely injured by that young man, who teamed up with Liena and Lingyan Douluo from Spirit Hall. Qian Renxue was shocked. Of course, she was completely calm. Ning Fengzi knew these things were normal, because they were Ning Rongrong's personal experiences, unrelated to the contents of the diary copy, and could be shared with others. Ning Fengzi paused, then said seriously, King, remember, the most important reason the Haoshan sect cannot be won over is that Tang Hao, Tang San, and Su Chen are incompatible. Rongrong repeatedly warned me in her letters not to associate with anyone with the last name Tang. Although she enjoys mischief, she would never joke about such a thing. Indeed, Ning Rongrong, though spoiled, was a very intelligent girl. She understood the importance of information. Take Ho Wu, for example. Despite being out for so long and following Su Chen for so long, she hadn't the guts to write anything useful to her family. Although Ning Rongrong wrote about her experiences abroad, she emphasized every key point to Ning Fengzi one by one. Chapter 218 He has become my uncle. Qian Renxue pretended to be surprised and said, I see. No wonder Tang Hao is like a useless person without soul power. It was Tang San who was sent to enter the palace treasury. He was already seriously injured. Ning Fengzi nodded and continued, although Rongrong is willful, she is still very aware of the overall situation. There will be a chance in the future. Before Ning Fengzi finished speaking, Qian Renxue suddenly said, to be honest, teacher, I might know the Su Chen you mentioned. Huh? Ning Fengzi asked with a puzzled look on his face. You know him? Qian Renxue nodded and replied, teacher taught me to be kind to others. I once knew Liena from the Spirit Hall. She came to Xiandao City not long ago, and I met that Su Chen. At that time, I also saw that he was extraordinary and wanted to win him over, but he was close to the Spirit Hall, so I couldn't speak up because of Liena's relationship. Ning Fengzi smiled and nodded. Okay, you are worthy of being my proudest disciple. Here. Yu Zhigang called Tang Yuhe aside and asked, Master Xuan, have you contacted the Haoshan sect? Zhao San can't go to jail. He's at the prime age for cultivation. If he spends 2 years in prison, I'm afraid his life will be ruined. Tang Yuhe looked at Yu Zhigang, feeling confused. This Yu Zhigang really was just as ordinary and confident as Su Chen described. Oh no. He wasn't even ordinary, just useless and mysteriously confident. I sent someone to contact them that night, but I can't say whether the Haoshan sect will personally send an elder to plead for mercy. Outsiders didn't know. Tang Yuhe, however, was very clear that, apart from her eldest brother Tang Xiao, no one in the Haoshan sect was willing to pay any attention to Tang Hao. Yu Zhigang heard this with some confusion and said, Clear Sky Douluo, you are the Clear Sky sect's Clear Sky twin stars. You should also inform the Clear Sky sect about Zhao San's situation, twin martial souls, innately full spirit power. How can we ignore such a gifted disciple? Tang Yuhe nodded slightly and said, I understand. I'll send someone else to deliver the message. Alice deep down, Tang Yuhe thought this was a good idea. Tang San was crippled, so be it. Only if Tang San was crippled would he not provoke Su Chen for the Clear Sky sect. If Tang San could live in the sky prison for the rest of his life, that might be the best outcome for everyone. Yu Zhigang, also with mixed feelings, glanced at Tang Yuhe and said, Master Xuan, I'll trouble you to take care of Clear Sky Douluo and Zhao San for the next few days. I have something to do and need to go to Spirit City immediately. By then, unless there are any unexpected events, I will definitely be able to rescue Zhao San and the others. Tang Yuhe? Outrageous. Tang Yuhe didn't know what else to say. Yu Zhigang, you're so confident. You actually dared to go to the spirit hall and ask Bibi Dong for help? Goodbye. Yu Zhigang said goodbye, and hurriedly left with Flender. Flender hesitated. Zhigang, are we really going to Spirit City now? Isn't that just walking into a trap? Yu Zhigang nodded heavily. I've said before that Spirit City is related to Zhao San's future training, as well as the affairs of those bastards Su Chen. This time, we need to borrow Bibi Dong's influence to plead for us. We have to go. Flender nodded slightly, a little hesitantly. I don't know how close you are to Bibi Dong, but do you think she'd be willing to help us? Yes, let's set off immediately. Flender, go find the fastest carriage in Xiandao City. Yu Zhigang was determined and confident. 2 flowers bloom, each with its own beauty. Spirit City. Now, not only Du Guyan and her group of women had arrived, but also Shui Binger and her sister. Everyone sat together, silently waiting for Ling Yuan to wake up. It lasted until the afternoon. Yi Lingling finally spoke. Ho Wu, Sister Ling Yuan should be well rested. Go wake her up for dinner? Ho Wu nodded. Just as she was about to leave, she suddenly turned and looked at Yi Lingling with a strange expression, asking, Why are you calling her sister? Yi Lingling asked, puzzled, Shouldn't I be calling her sister now? But Ho Wu was also confused. Sister, if you call her sister, then do I have to call you auntie too? Ho Wu rushed through the door. Ling Yuan opened her eyes at that moment, smiling at Ho Wu, who stood there in silence, somewhat sulking. Ling Yuan chuckled and asked, What's wrong, my little Ho Wu? Who made you angry? Ho Wu glared at Ling Yuan. Auntie, how could you do that? What's wrong with me? Ling Yuan looked puzzled. Ho Wu said unhappily, Why are you so close to Su Chen? How can I do anything to you? He has become my uncle, Pucci. Ling Yuan couldn't help laughing. That's easy. As long as you have the ability to take him down, then we can just go our separate ways. You call me auntie and I call you sister. Ho Wu was speechless and said, I don't want to pay attention to you anymore. Get up and have dinner, everyone is waiting for you. They want to see how much your strength has improved. Even Bibi Dong sent someone here early in the morning, asking you to go to the spirit hall if you have nothing to do. Ling Yuan stretched and said, Well, I'll get up and go out now. By the way, Zhao Chen went out early in the morning. Is he back now? Ho Wu shook her head and said, No, we didn't see him early in the morning. He seemed to be in a hurry to go out. Today's diary has not been updated yet. Ling Yuan nodded slightly and said, He is indeed in a hurry today. Tomorrow is Nana's conferment ceremony. He wants to make some gunpowder as a gift to give Nana a surprise. It's a pity that we don't understand these things and can't help him. Ho Wu was envious when she heard this. This guy Su Chen. It seems that apart from being a little fickle, There is really nothing wrong with him. He actually prepared a surprise for Liena. Spirit Hall. Liena came here early in the morning. Liena followed Bibi Dong to greet many guests from the Spirit Hall. Among these people were the Sparrow Bee sect, Holy Dragon sect, Wind Sword sect, etc., who had been recruited by the Spirit Hall. At this moment, after Liena had dinner, she took a nap with Bibi Dong in the Pope's bedroom. She was in a good mood. Bibi Dong was just a little anxious. She had been anxious for the whole morning. Last night she asked about the production of gunpowder, and today the whole morning passed, and it was already afternoon, and there was no movement in Su Chen's diary. Bibi Dong even suspected that her beloved disciple, or the woman in Su Chen's family, had complained to Su Chen. Nana, did anyone of you tell Su Chen about the diary copy? Why hasn't today's diary been updated yet? Chapter 219. There is actually a continent. Liena shook her head and replied, no one has told Su Chen about the diary copy. The diary was updated late today because Su Chen was busy today. He told me last night that he was busy and that he needed to go to bed early. Bibi Dong looked a little strange and asked, did he go to bed early? Liena shook her head. Whether he slept or not, you can tell by looking at the reward Ling Yuan received. At this moment, Bibi Dong suddenly remembered the dream she had last night, a wonderful journey. Of course. This shameful dream, Bibi Dong, would linger in her stomach for the rest of her life. But having this dream was actually quite normal, it was what her body needed. Wait a little longer, Bibi Dong said, reaching out to stroke Liena's cheek and asking, Nana, Ling Yuan has watched you grow up, treating you like a teacher. Now she's Su Chen's woman, just like you. How do you feel? Liena thought for a moment and replied, I feel a little strange, but Aunt Ling Yuan told me that we'll be separate from each other from now on. Outside, I still call her auntie, and at home, she calls me sister. Oh, Bibi Dong's eyes grew a little strange at this. Can you still divide them like that? I've learned something. Speaking of which, Su Chen was indeed very busy today. He left home before dawn, holding his waist, and then drove at full speed, searching everywhere for the materials needed for gunpowder. Now, he finally had time to write in his diary, today is a day of low energy, today is also a busy day. I've been out and about early this morning, and I haven't even had a sip of water yet. I'll take this opportunity to rest and drink some water while writing in my diary. Let me see what the hell is going on in today's diary. Why is it about gunpowder manufacturing? Bibi Dong breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing the updated diary entry, a smile on her face. This bastard finally remembered to write in his diary, gunpowder, this will be our Spirit Hall's secret weapon for unifying the continent. With such a secret weapon, Zuir's mission in the Heaven Dao Empire won't be important anymore. Liena, sitting nearby, said with a complicated expression, teacher, you won't blow up the Spirit Hall, will you? Huh? Bibi Dong was speechless upon hearing this. Nana, teacher, I've told you many times that the diary copy truly helped me purify the evil thoughts of the Rakshasa god. Su Chen's diary entries also allowed me to see clearly into that scumbag Uzziah gang. What do you need to do to make me trust you, teacher? Liena remained silent. In your situation, Su Chen would have to confirm that you're fine before we would fully trust you. Meanwhile, the women who possessed the diary copies also prepared their small textbooks and began studying. Gunpowder, as the name suggests, is a chemical that can cause violent combustion by sparks, flames, or other means. Gunpowder is one of China's 4 great inventions. It's a substance that, when exposed to appropriate external energy, can rapidly and regularly combust, simultaneously generating large quantities of high-temperature combustion gases. In the military, it's primarily used as propellant for bullets and artillery shells, and as a propellant for rockets and missiles, as well as an energy source for other propulsion systems. It's a crucial component of ammunition. I've previously written about the myriad worlds of the universe. Besides fantasy and martial arts, there are many different worlds, and gunpowder is one of the most important inventions in the technological world. 1 nitrate, 2 sulfur, 3 charcoal, this is the initial formula for making gunpowder. In some other worlds, gunpowder is also a part of alchemy. Oh, yes. Speaking of alchemists, there's a place called the Sun and Moon continent in the Douluo world. The technology there is quite advanced, and they manufacture soul guides. Soul guides are actually not unknown, they're the storage bags you use, but there are many types of soul guides, such as melee soul guides, long-range soul guides, and fixed-mount soul guides. There are also storage soul guides, humanoid soul guides, and so on. The characteristic of these soul guides is that you only need to inject soul power into them to use them as weapons. Regardless, whether it's gunpowder or soul guides, they're far more powerful than the little scoundrel's hidden weapons. Why? All things share a law of energy. For example, gunpowder is energy generated by explosions, and soul guides are the input of soul power from formations. What about hidden weapons? Hidden weapons are merely mechanisms. No matter how ingenious, they can't generate sufficient power, which limits their power. Over here. Bibi Dong's eyes widened when she saw the diary entries, and she exclaimed in surprise, "There's actually a continent." Soul guides. Bibi Dong was deeply shocked. As the Pope of the Spirit Hall, she must know about soul guides and possess them. Of course. The ones she had were merely storage soul guides. She had no knowledge of weapon-type soul guides, for example. Furthermore, the soul guide technology on this mainland was already lost. It would be a blessing to find the Sun-Moon continent and bring back a group of soul guide craftsmen. Liena was also very surprised and asked, "Teacher, there's actually a Sun-Moon continent. Have you heard of it?" Bibi Dong shook her head slightly and said, "Teacher doesn't know either. Nana, you can ask Su Chen about this later. He must know," Liena said thoughtfully. "Su Chen must know, but even you haven't heard of this Sun-Moon continent. I wonder how far away it is from us." Elsewhere, Bo Saixi and Hai Nu Douluo, who were on their way, were also surprised when they saw the contents of the diary. The sea maiden asked with a bewildered look, "High Priest, there's actually a Sun-Moon continent. Do you know of this place?" Bo Saixi shook her head slightly. "I don't know. I was born and raised on Sigurd Island. Aside from orders from Lord Sigurd, I've rarely left." She wasn't even familiar with the Sun-Moon continent, let alone the Douluo continent. Yesterday, upon landing, she'd already taken the sea maiden in the wrong direction. The sea maiden Douluo looked at Bo Saixi, her large, sky-blue eyes swirling as she spoke. "High Priest, the sun's so strong right now. I'm feeling dehydrated. Can we find a river to rest?" Bo Saixi's eyes flashed with confusion. "Didn't we just rest? At this rate, when will we reach the Heaven Dao Empire and complete the mission Lord Sigurd has given us?" Bo Saixi snapped in a snarl. "By the time we get to the Heaven Dao Empire, I'm afraid Tang San will be dead in the heavenly prison." Sea Maiden Douluo, how do you know I'm thinking that? Chapter 220. Are you so polite? Sea Girl Douluo looked at Bo Saixi with a pair of clever eyes. That was clearly what Bo Saixi meant. Bo Saixi also held his forehead, feeling a little tired, and said, "Sea Girl, I know what you are thinking, but we can't betray Lord Poseidon." The Sea Girl replied, "But we are not betraying. We are not saving Tang San. We are letting him fend for himself. It is best to let him die soon, that way, High Priest, you can avoid the sacrifice. This way, we won't be enemies with Su Chen, and Lord Poseidon won't be an enemy of Su Chen either. This is the best option, High Priest. Let's go to Spirit City instead." Bo Saixi shook his head slightly, and said helplessly, "Let's continue to the Heaven Dao Empire. If we ignore the mission Lord Poseidon gave us, how can we explain it to Lord Poseidon?" Sea Girl Douluo hesitated and said, "Then after we rescue Tang San, can I kill him?" "Big sister, do you want to hear what you have to say?" Bo Saixi was completely speechless. Spirit City. At Su Chen's house, a group of people gathered around Ling Yuan Douluo, each one like curious babies. "Auntie Ling Yuan, are you more powerful than Pope Bibi Dong now? Are you level 100 or 99? Are you as powerful as that Bo Saixi now?" "Auntie Ling Yuan, can you share your experience? How did you handle that Su Chen?" The women said, "Auntie, please sell me the course. We'll buy it at any price." Ling Yuan was completely bewildered. The previous questions sounded quite serious, but why did the latter one sound so unpleasant? Ling Yuan looked at Ning Rongrong, who had asked the crucial question, and said speechlessly, "You little witch. Everyone is concerned about my strength. Why are you so young paying attention to these trivial things?" Ning Rongrong stuck out her tongue, glanced at the crowd, and said with a chuckle, "They're just embarrassed to ask, but they must all want to know. Ho Wu, do you think I'm right?" "Yes," Ho Wu nodded firmly, not shying away. Yi Lingling, Du Yan, and Zhu Zhuqing were speechless. "How polite are you to discuss how to seduce our men right in front of us?" Ling Yuan explained calmly, "My current strength is that of a 100th level quasi-god, with 23 levels remaining. These 23 levels are soul power right now, But once I break through to the divine realm, they won't be soul power, but divine power. As for the question of who's better, me or Her Holiness the Pope, that's a complicated question. They're not as strong as me in soul power, but they have 100,000-year soul rings and soul skills, so they still have hope of battling me. Of course, it would be very difficult for them to defeat me, because the soul power levels I have remaining almost guarantee that my soul power will never be depleted. After hearing Ling Yuan's words, the women's eyes sparkled with envy. That's amazing. If Aunt Ling Yuan isn't being modest, she could just say, I'm not targeting anyone, everyone here is trash. That's so enviable. With me, Liu Erlong was just about to say, with my current soul power, if I get a 30-level soul power boost, I can also be promoted to 100-level quasi-god. However, Liu Erlong hurriedly stopped herself. Last night was already embarrassing enough. How could she have the nerve to use such a metaphor in front of these little girls? Ho Wu asked curiously, Aunt Ling Yuan, you haven't shared your experience with us yet. How did you catch up with Su Chen? Ling Yuan was a little shy about this question. She rolled her eyes at Ho Wu and said, why don't you ask Ling Ling and the others how they caught up with Su Chen? Everyone turned their eyes to Yi Lingling. Yi Lingling blushed and said, I didn't catch up with him. Su Chen said he wanted to marry me when we first met, and then I thought about it and agreed. Du Yuan said unhappily, you guys, do you have to be so excessive? Liu Erlong was speechless and said, okay, look at what you are talking about. Let's read the diary. That woman Bibi Dong wants to get gunpowder to destroy the world. A new continent appeared. Everyone went to read the diary together. When they saw the Sun and Moon continent written in the diary, they couldn't help but be shocked. Sun Moon continent, soul guidance device. Everyone glanced at each other and shook their heads, completely bewildered. Ning Rongrong excitedly exclaimed, Sister Lingling, Sister Jiangzhu, soul guidance device, this will be of immense help to us. Yi Lingling and Jiangzhu's expressions also changed, their hearts filled with astonishment. An offensive soul guide device? Just injecting soul power into it could attack. Let's get back to the point. Let's continue writing about gunpowder. Honestly, gunpowder's power is terrifying, but with the technological level of Douluo continent, its potential is truly limited. If it were back home, could you imagine it? One could sit in Wuhan City, click a button, and the Star Luo Empire and the Heaven Dao Empire would be wiped out in the blink of an eye. What about tidal Douluo or what? Under the threat of nuclear weapons, all beings are equal. Even Qian Renxue, a deity, could have her heart pierced by Tang San's hidden weapon, the Avalokitous Vartiers. So, let's just talk about a deity's body. Can it withstand this? The following appears unrelated and likely a translation error. Prince's Mansion. Qian Renxue also looked exhausted. So, this point about her being a bit of a spitting image was constantly being pointed out and spurred on. She had a hunch that, if nothing unexpected happened, the second prize tonight might very well be hers. Firstly, Su Chen wrote about gunpowder today, and because he had left early and was busy, he hadn't even mentioned Liena and the others. Now that her name had appeared, wasn't it a high chance of winning? Secondly and most importantly, her name had appeared because of the taunts. Anyone who had been taunted by Su Chen wouldn't have had too bad luck. Qian Renxue was also excited. She set a small goal for herself, level 70. She would raise her soul power to level 70 as quickly as possible, then defeat Su Chen, earn the level 30 soul power reward, directly reach the level 100 standard, and then create her own godhood. Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong had just been thinking, soul guidance devices are amazing. Next, we'll send people to search for the Sun and Moon continent. Seeing the power of gunpowder, Bibi Dong was completely stunned. Oh my god. In Wuhan City, with a flick of a button, the Heaven Dao Empire and the Luo Empire are reduced to ash in the blink of an eye? Even tidal Daolos and gods aren't immune? Great. I need to learn this. Bibi Dong was also excited. Su Chen, stop just talking nonsense. Hurry up and write about how to make gunpowder. What's the point? Get the real deal. Chapter 221. Be mentally prepared. Look. Liena felt a little helpless when she saw Bibi Dong's excited look. She even suspected that if there was such a button, the teacher would choose to blow up the entire Douluo continent without hesitation. Fortunately, Su Chen's diary continued to be updated, which made Liena feel relieved and Bibi Dong a little speechless. If you can't make it, what are you writing about? Of course, even if I am a time traveler, I can't make weapons of the level of a nuclear bomb. This requires the joint progress of the whole world to accomplish. At present, with my ability, it is very simple to make gunpowder, but it takes some time to make yellow gunpowder. Explosives. Continue to write about gunpowder. The basic principle of gunpowder is 1 niter, 2 sulfur and 3 charcoal. To be precise, potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal are mixed together to get gunpowder. Let's not talk about charcoal. During the crisp autumn weather, saltpeter forms in the form of crusts or salt crystals, covering the ground and corners, especially near pig pens, stables, and toilets. This is known as ground frost. Additionally, there are natural saltpeter mines and wood ash saltpeter soil. Sulfur, also known as sulfur, is a pale yellow, brittle crystal or powder with a distinctive odor. It can generally be mined near volcanoes. Spirit Hall. The Pope's bedroom. Bibi Dong watched Su Chen finish writing his diary entry, feeling vaguely that something was amiss, but she couldn't place it. It had to be said. Bibi Dong's intuition was spot on. This was indeed wrong, because Su Chen had a trick up his sleeve. What was the most important thing about gunpowder? The most important thing about gunpowder was the chemical reaction produced by combustion. If Bibi Dong didn't study these things carefully, she would discover that her gunpowder was female, while Su Chen's was male. Bibi Dong looked at Liena and said seriously, "Nana, the next moment will be the moment to witness the rise of our spirit empire. Are you ready?" Liena listened to Bibi Dong's words, and it sounded like the next moment will be the moment to blow up the spirit hall. "You should be mentally prepared, teacher." Liena hesitated and said, "In fact, you see that Ning Rongrong can let it go, and you should try to let it go too. After all, there is still a long life ahead. Teacher, you should live your own life well. Life is not just about the immediate, but also about poetry and distant fields. You came to the world empty-handed, and you did everything to find that." Bibi Dong was confused and said, "Why are you singing?" Liena replied, "This is originally a song. Teacher, do you want to listen to it? If you want to, I will sing it to you." "No need," Bibi Dong replied, and said, "I'm going to find Douluo now, and ask them to find some saltpeter and sulfur as quickly as possible." "Nana, don't worry." The words fell. Bibi Dong left in a hurry. Liena looked at Bibi Dong's departing figure. Her heart was also very tangled. After hesitating for a moment, she also hurried back in the direction of home. Prince's mansion. Qian Renxue frowned after reading the diary. Then she ordered the 2 snake-spear Douluo to send people to find saltpeter and sulfur. 1 saltpeter, 2 sulfur, and 3 charcoal to make gunpowder to blow up Tang San. Qian Renxue was also in a good mood. Judging from the content of the diary, the production of gunpowder is not a big problem. Even if Bibi Dong gets it, it will not be a big deal. After all, this is seen by all the women who have a copy of the diary, and it is not her exclusive secret recipe. It is not so easy for her to use it to destroy the spirit hall. Of course, there is no problem using it to blow up Tang San. Isn't it more powerful than a hidden weapon? On the other side, Sea-Girl Douluo found a reason to go back and shouted, "High Priest, the production of gunpowder has been written by Su Chen. I think we should go back to Sea God Island immediately and start making gunpowder. Otherwise, wait until that Bibi Dong makes it first, and she attacks Sea God Island with gunpowder, and we're finished." Bo Seixi's face was calm, and she replied lightly, "Let her do it." Sea-Girl Douluo was confused, and asked puzzledly, "High Priest, are you not in a hurry at all?" Bo Seixi was indeed not in a hurry at all. She looked at the sea-girl and asked, "What kind of person do you think Su Chen is?" Sea-Girl Douluo looked confused, and thought about it carefully and said, "Except that he likes to target Tang San, and is a little fickle. I don't feel anything bad about him. I think he should be a very good person." "Oh, why?" Bo Seixi looked at the sea-girl with some surprise in his eyes. The sea-girl said calmly, "High Priest, you have seen the contents of the diary before. When he wrote it, he did not glorify or target anyone because of personal relationships. Liena is already his girlfriend. You see, when he wrote about the ungrateful person in his diary, he was not polite at all and wrote down the facts without any concealment." Bo Seixi nodded, "That's right. When Su Chen wrote his diary, he didn't consider who the other person was or what relationship he had with him. From this point of view, his basic principle of being a human being is completely fine. Of course, what I want to ask you is, do you think Su Chen is smart?" The sea-girl scratched her head and said a little confusedly, "How can I feel this?" Bo Seixi said calmly, "Why can't I feel it? For example, when he first started writing his diary, He never wrote about the fairy grass in his diary. It was not until he was about to get the fairy grass that he wrote about it in his diary. This shows a problem. Either Su Chen realized that the diary might be seen by others, or he is very cautious in his actions. Based on this, if this were truly continent-shattering gunpowder, do you think he'd easily write about it in his diary? Seagirl Douluo was even more bewildered. It shouldn't be, given the diary's subject matter, given his authenticity in his past diary entries. What he wrote shouldn't be false, right? Bo Sexy smiled. I'll tell you the ingredients for a dish now. Can you make it taste like it? Alright, let's continue on to the Heaven Dao Empire. Seagirl Douluo also suddenly realized. It seemed so. Su Chen had only written 1 part nitrate, 2 parts sulfur, and 3 parts charcoal. There was nothing else to do with it. Liena hurried back from the spirit hall. Seeing the women at home, she asked, is Su Chen not back yet? Everyone shook their heads. Du Yan asked, did something happen? Liena's expression was a little complicated. You've seen Su Chen write about the gunpowder recipe in his diary. My teacher has already arranged for people to find nitrate and sulfur. Chapter 222. Something is wrong with this thing. For a moment, the women all looked grim, feeling powerless to complain. Such a good pope, but unfortunately he's blind. Liu Erlong said angrily, this Bibi Dong, she really hasn't changed her ways. Su Chen clearly wrote in his diary that Yu Zhigang is a complete scumbag. Why can't she turn back? Ho Wu said bluntly, you already know he's a scumbag, so why did you fall for him before? Everyone looked at Liu Erlong curiously. Liu Erlong's face turned awkward, and she said unhappily, wasn't it okay if I was blind before, but, I've thought about it before, why I was so obsessed with Yu Zhigang before, it's all because he's so good at pretending. My feeling about him before was, there are no useless martial souls, only useless soul masters. Although his own martial soul is useless, he is still confident and not discouraged, and he is knowledgeable and talented. With his own efforts, he has become a master admired by everyone. That's it. Ho Wu and the others felt a little speechless. Is this enough to make you blind? Liu Erlong thought for a moment and said seriously, there's more. That is, if a man doesn't really like you, you will like him even more. It's that feeling of being abandoned and separated that will make you fall into the abyss step by step, unable to extricate yourself. Oh, yes, this man will also pull you, saying things like he doesn't have the ability now, he's not worthy of you, and so on, so that you are willing to give everything for him. Everyone listened with a serious look on their faces. No wonder Liu Erlong was able to cure his eyes, his mind was as clear as a mirror now. Yi Lingling glanced at the still worried Liena and said, Sister Nana, if you are worried about His Holiness the Pope getting access to the gunpowder manufacturing, you can rest assured. If she really wants to do that, Su Chen will definitely stop her. Yi Lingling was not worried at all. After all, she knew that Su Chen knew that others could see the diary. If he really had such concerns, Su Chen would not have written it down. Liena thought for a moment and said, I'll just keep an eye on it. If the teacher really has this idea, I'll tell Su Chen right away. Auntie Lingyan, how strong have you become now? Lingyan heard Liena's words and replied with a smile, thanks to Sister Nana, I'm a level 100 quasi-god. Everyone looked puzzled. Why was Lingyan still calling Liena sister? Isn't it? Your relationship is a bit messed up. Logically, since you're both Su Chen's women now, should Liena call you, Lingyan, sister? Liena, also embarrassed, said, Auntie Lingyan, please call me Nana. It makes me uncomfortable. Let's go back to the spirit hall now. The teacher really wants to see your current strength. That evening, Su Chen rushed back from outside. Yi Lingling and her group hurried to greet him. Su Chen looked at Yi Lingling and the others and asked, did you buy everything I wrote for you yesterday according to the list? Yi Lingling nodded in unison, it's all ready. It's in the back of the martial arts arena. Is there anything else we can help you with? Su Chen shook his head slightly and said, you don't understand these things, so you can't be of much help. Go to bed early. The most important task was for Su Chen to quickly find saltpeter and sulfur according to the map today. Next, he would refine them slightly, mix them according to the appropriate proportions, and finally wrap them into firecrackers. For now, they were just for the sound. If they were to be used in weapons later, the experimentation would be more time-consuming and would require acquiring a lot of metal for refining. For now, the main thing was to make them sound and explode. Night. The moonlight spread like water over the silent earth, casting a soft veil over the nightscape. enchanting the senses. A beautiful night begins with a hand-rolling of firecrackers. Su Chen carefully prepared the gunpowder, gently placed it into the paper tube, and pressed it with a tool. A not quite perfect double-shot firecracker was almost finished. While Su Chen's craftsmanship wasn't entirely up to standard, his materials were flawless, and the quantity was more than adequate. This firecracker was as thick as a calf. He was terrified the first shot would misfire. How embarrassing. Of course. This was a flawed experiment, and it must never be replicated. Making such a large batch without a long enough fuse would likely lead to him going to see his great-grandfather. Ding. Diary, recording the wonderful life of time travel. Rewards. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward. All spirit rings have their age increased by 1,000 years. Congratulations to the host for receiving the random reward. Soul power increased by 1 level. Su Chen was overjoyed when he saw the diary entries being distributed. Level 39. Soon, he'd be a soul master, even if it was a little slower than the woman who followed him in his cheating. Damn. Just a tiny bit slower. Notebook, I won't say anything today. I'm going to make a fuss right now. Just tell me about tomorrow's rewards, okay? Instance rewards. Congratulations to Qian Renxue for having the most names mentioned in the diary. Reward, increase the age of all spirit rings by 1,000 years. Congratulations to Qian Renxue for having her name randomly selected in the diary. Reward, increase your spirit power by 1 level. Congratulations to Bibi Dong for being the lucky viewer who can customize the diary theme once, in the Pope's bedroom. Liena and Ling Yuan hadn't returned, they were accompanying Bibi Dong in developing gunpowder. At this moment, Liena, seeing the diary rewards, was also filled with joy and said, "Teacher, have you seen it? Xiaoxo actually got 2 of today's rewards, and the third one is yours." Bibi Dong frowned, staring intently at the slowly burning gunpowder at her feet, muttering, "This thing is wrong. Did that bastard Su Chen have a trick up his sleeve? This doesn't look like explosive gunpowder at all. Setting it on fire is fine, but how can it explode?" Liena and Ling Yuan looked at each other, both feeling a little amused. As expected. How could a secret weapon be so easy to create? They both thought, it's already great that the gunpowder you made actually burns. Liena paused, then offered encouragement, "Teacher, everything is difficult at the beginning. Gunpowder is as powerful as Su Chen describes it to be. I doubt even Su Chen could make it instantly." Ling Yuan nodded, "Yes, Your Majesty. Even Xiao Chen had to start from scratch with this gunpowder. How could powerful gunpowder be made instantly?" Just as they finished speaking and Bibi Dong was about to nod in approval, a muffled thud, like an earthquake, erupted from outside. Bang! Immediately, an even louder explosion echoed from the sky. Boom! In the quiet night, a resounding roar echoed through the sky, and the entire Wuhan City Paw Patrol appeared, roaring and roaring. Chapter 223 White Teeth. Huh? Liena and Ling Yuan were both stunned. It seemed the gunpowder wasn't the problem, it was the quality of their Holy Father's craftsmanship that was the problem. Bibi Dong stared blankly at the night sky, her face filled with envy. Powerful. Su Chen's cannon is much louder and more powerful than the firecrackers I got that night. Damn it, that bastard must have had a trick up his sleeve. Too much? How could a time traveler lie in his diary? Bibi Dong felt deeply distressed. She had felt she had it, but now she was still so far from it. It was heartbreaking. Liena and Ling Yuan also had complicated expressions. What a false alarm. What Su Chen had written in his diary wasn't originally complete. Liena glanced at Bibi Dong and whispered soothingly, "Teacher, it's okay. Even if the gunpowder doesn't work, didn't you get the third prize again? That's not a bad deal." Ling Yuan's face was odd, but she couldn't help but laugh. "This wave is indeed worth it," Bibi Dong said speechlessly. "I think you two should just forget it. Laugh if you want." Meanwhile, Yilingling and Du Yuan had just finished looking at the rewards for the diary dungeon and were about to rest when they suddenly heard a loud noise in the backyard, like an earthquake. "Is that gunpowder?" Yilingling and her companions were shocked and hurried out in their pajamas to investigate. At the same time, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and the others also rushed out in their pajamas. At the martial arts arena, Su Chen covered his nose with one hand and fanned the smoke from his eyes with the other, thinking to himself, "That was a close call. I'm so strong, otherwise I'd be in such a mess." "Su Chen, are you okay?" Yilingling and her group ran up, watching the smoke fill the air, and worried about Su Chen's safety. Su Chen replied calmly, "It's okay, everything is under control." His eyes lit up as he watched. Yi Lingling, Du Yan, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Xiao Wu, Ho Wu, Li Long, and Jiang Zhu, they were all wearing cool pajamas. Some were in pajama skirts, some were in shorts and vests. The colors were dazzling. The scenery was truly breathtaking. The legs were beautiful, the snow was a milky white. The scenery was a boundless spring scene, and with a lingering mist, it was like a fairyland on earth, a fairy descending to earth. Su Chen couldn't help but stand in awe. Fortunately, he had fought a bloody battle with Ling Yuan last night, otherwise, seeing such a scene would have caused him a nosebleed. For a moment, everyone noticed something strange in Su Chen's eyes. Glancing down at their own attire, their faces flushed with shame, and they all ran back. "It's all right, we'll be leaving now, good night." After this run, only Zhu Zhuqing, Yi Lingling, and Du Yan were left. After all, the three of them knew Su Chen well, so there wasn't much to be embarrassed about. Yi Lingling said softly, "We're relieved you're all right. The noise just now was too loud. We'll go back first, okay?" Su Chen nodded and prepared to continue playing with his firecrackers. As the three of them walked away, Yi Lingling invited Zhu Zhuqing, "Zhuqing, why don't you sleep with me and Yanzi later, huh?" Zhu Zhuqing's face flushed at that. She glanced back at Su Chen, seemingly troubled by some reason. Yi Lingling whispered, "It's all right, it's just the three of us. Su Chen just finished making the gunpowder and needs to make some more for tomorrow, okay?" Zhu Zhuqing nodded in agreement, knowing Su Chen didn't have time to go back to sleep. Du Yan reached out and hugged Zhu Zhuqing, grinning, "Zhuqing, are you sleeping with us tonight? That's great, I'd love to see just how powerful Zhuqing's innate martial spirit is." Su Chen watched the three people leave, then glanced at the paper tube in his hand. "Damn it. Firecrackers and the like aren't fun at all. There's still time, everything's still in time, the next project will be quick. Let's go make firecrackers." The prince's mansion. Speaking of which, Qian Renxue was different from Bibi Dong. Having never seen the sound of heaven and earth, she certainly didn't know how much gunpowder was needed to prepare and mix. So, with the same mindset as Su Chen, she mixed most of the materials that Snake Spear Thornfish had gathered. In the underground secret room, Qian Renxue took the torch, but before she could even light it, a single drop of flame fell, and with a boom, a huge ball of flame rose. At the same time, the flames engulfed Qian Renxue, Snake Spear Douluo, and Porcupine Douluo. Young Master, Snake Spear Douluo and Porcupine Douluo had barely reacted when they saw a flash of fire. Qian Renxue's face was blackened by the smoke, and much of her golden hair had been burned. Heart, Snake Spear Douluo and Porcupine Douluo, also blackened by the smoke, had just stepped forward to finish their words. Ahem, Snake Spear Douluo fanned the smoke from the room, observing the sizzling mixture of gunpowder before him. Curious, he asked, "Ahem, young master, what the hell is this? Why is it burning so fast?" Qian Renxue's face was dark, her golden eyes gleaming with excitement, and her mouth was filled with a mouthful of white teeth. "This is astonishing, this stuff is amazing. It burns faster than any kerosene I've ever seen." Cough, cough, cough. Porpoise Douluo also covered his nose and warned, "Young master, I think one of us should go out first. The smoke is pungent. I don't know if it's poisonous. Let's go up and take shelter, okay?" Qian Renxue reached out and fanned the smoke in front of them. She and Snake Spear Douluo hurried out of the secret room. Fortunately, it was a secret room. If they were in the room, the whole place would have been set on fire. It's true. Qian Renxue was lucky. Although her mixing was a mess, she happened to have the right proportion 70% to 80%. After the three of them came up, Snake Spear Douluo and Porpoise Douluo looked at each other, and at the embarrassment of each other, they couldn't help laughing. "Haha, old buddy, I just realized today that your teeth are quite white. PFFT, your eyes are quite white too." Qian Renxue looked at the two people who were making fun of each other, and a smile appeared on her face. She opened her mouth slightly, and wow! Her teeth were shining white. Ahem, seeing this, the two Shalances almost couldn't help laughing. "Young master, let me get you a basin of water first, okay?" Qian Renxue nodded slightly and said, "Thank you, Grandpashi." Qian Renxue was in a very, very happy mood today. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224, Soul Fusion Technique Owl. First of all, Bibi Dong's question yesterday was about gunpowder, but Su Chen happened to be busy, too busy to complain about anyone. Even Liena and the others didn't mention the previous time, but Su Chen casually complained about the incident where Tang San's hidden weapon pierced his heart after he became a god. He was the only one in yesterday's diary. 2 rewards. Perfect. Qian Renxue was truly excited, thrilled, and happy. Not only did the diary receive 2 rewards, but the gunpowder experiment also proved so effective. However, Qian Renxue, who had been happy, soon stopped smiling. Young master, SS. Qian Renxue looked at Shilong, who hurried over with a bottle of water and an embarrassed expression on his face. She asked, bewildered, Grandpa Shi, what did you just say? Snake Spear Douluo said helplessly, this ash isn't easy to wash out. And, young master, your hair might need some trimming. Porpoise Douluo also scratched his head in embarrassment. The fire had started so suddenly, neither of them had time to react before they were suffocated by the blaze. Qian Renxue touched her hairstyle, which was almost the same as Liena's, and feigned composure, saying, it's okay, it's just a few inches. It'll grow back eventually. In reality, Qian Renxue felt like she was about to cry. Woo woo woo. My beautiful long golden hair. Su Chen, you bastard, why didn't you write it down in your diary? You're clearly using this gunpowder to torture me. Bibi Dong said Qian Renxue was right. Wuhan City. Early morning. Zhu Zhuqing, half asleep, sensed something strange. Without even opening her eyes, she muttered, Sister Yanzi, stop playing, go to bed early, tomorrow is Sister Nana's enthronement ceremony, and we have to go congratulate her. With that, Zhu Zhuqing turned over and continued to sleep. But the strange feeling didn't stop. Just as Zhu Zhuqing was about to speak, she suddenly realized she had been struck by a spirit fusion technique. Oh my god. Zhu Zhuqing was also shocked. Wasn't Su Chen making gunpowder in the backyard? Why did he suddenly attack? And Yi Lingling and Du Yan, how could they calm down and practice their spirit fusion technique? Just then, Su Chen's voice rang out. Zhuqing, don't look back. I'm Du Yan, Zhu Zhuqing, Kunpeng Spirit Netherworld Spirit Cat Spirit Soul Fusion Technique, Owl. Yi Lingling and Du Yan had originally gone to bed early. Who would have thought? As they slept, they suddenly sensed something was amiss, as if they had been dragged into a battle in their dreams. Yi Lingling and the others snapped open their eyes, and upon seeing Su Chen and Zhu Zhuqing practicing their martial soul fusion technique, they were instantly enraged. How can this be? Su Chen, you're secretly training with Zhu Zhuqing, and you're not even training with us right here. We're pissed, we're going to team up and defeat you. Zhu Zhuqing had been secretly practicing her martial soul fusion technique with Su Chen, suppressing her voice and daring not to make any large movements. Who could have imagined they'd be discovered? But how could 4 people practice a martial soul fusion technique? Sister Lingling, could you please leave first? Wait until Su Chen and I complete our martial soul fusion technique, and then you can come in and practice it. Du Yan and Yi Lingling were even more enraged upon hearing this. Okay, we wanted to join forces with you to deal with Su Chen. But now you're trying to kick us out. Don't blame us for being ruthless. 9-hearted begonia soul skill, dexterity, green phosphorus snake soul skill, handy hands. Zhu Zhuqing was practicing a soul fusion technique with Su Chen when Yi Lingling and the others suddenly attacked. Unable to contain her anger, she spat out a mouthful of blood. Su Chen, also affected by the soul fusion technique, also spat out a mouthful of blood. Early in the morning, Liena returned from Bibi Dong's place. Today was her conferment ceremony, a very important day for her. Liena had returned from the spirit hall early in the morning, intending to call Su Chen along, asking him to stay with her on this special day. However, upon her return, as soon as she reached the door of the inner courtyard's master bedroom, before she even entered, she heard the sounds of Su Chen, Zhu Zhuqing, Yi Lingling, and Du Yan diligently practicing their soul fusion technique. Liena was also shocked. Oh my god. She turned her head to look at the sky. There was a rosy glow in the east. It was already dawn. You are practicing too hard. I must go in and persuade them. Practice should also be a combination of work and rest. Don't work too hard. It's not good for your health. Ahem. Liena cleared her throat at the door, gently pushed the door open and walked in, closing the door behind her. Zhu Zhuqing was also shocked and said, a martial soul fusion technique for 5 people, oh my god, a martial soul fusion technique for 5 people is too difficult to practice. I will definitely not be able to do it. Liena patted Zhu Zhuqing's smooth breasts and said, I came to invite you, today is an important day for me. My man and my sisters, can you accompany me? Zhu Zhuqing was relieved when she heard this. Yilingling and Douyan replied, of course, however, before we leave, we should complete this martial soul fusion technique. Come and help us, hiss. Su Chen also felt the pressure double, and couldn't help but take a breath. Over here. Ning Rongrong got up early and went out with Xiao Wu, muttering to herself, how strange, Spirit City should be very lively today, why is everyone up so late? Xiao Wu looked around the yard and said, to be precise, it should be a few people who got up late. Look at Senior Erlong and Jiangzhu Huao, aren't they all up already? Liu Erlong saw Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu, walked over and said, I heard that you follow Su Chen and practice martial arts every day when you get up early. Can I practice with him? Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong were a little conflicted when they heard this, and said, that's fine, it's just that we don't seem to have time to practice martial arts today. The Spirit Hall is holding a ceremony to confer the title of Saint of Liena, conferring her the title of Saint of the Spirit Hall. Liu Erlong was puzzled when he heard this, and said, Saint of the Spirit Hall, such a big thing, why haven't I heard of it? It seems that the Spirit Hall has not invited anyone, Ning Rongrong whispered, quite a few people have been invited. Although Bibi Dong announced it 3 days ago, preparations have been underway since then. It was already confirmed when Lingin and Douluo went to Soto City, of course. The people they invited are all from the Spirit Hall. You were in the Heaven Dao Empire before, so you definitely wouldn't have been invited, nor would you have heard of them. Liu Erlong said thoughtfully, so, this is not only a conferring ceremony, but also a major meeting of the Spirit Hall. Are they going to make a big move next? Chapter 225 Social death is also death. Ning Rongrong thought for a moment and said, not necessarily, according to the content of Su Chen's diary, the Spirit Hall's action will take many years. If they start to act now, I'm afraid the Spirit Hall is not yet fully prepared. I guess Bibi Dong wants to use this opportunity to show her strength to the forces on the side of the Spirit Hall. When they see Liena's spirit ring configuration, who cannot follow the Spirit Hall wholeheartedly? Liu Erlong nodded thoughtfully, looked at Ning Rongrong in surprise and said, I didn't expect you to be so smart. Ning Rongrong's face was also embarrassed, and she said speechlessly, I thought you were praising me, haha. Liu Erlong smiled and said, I was praising you. When my sister was your age, she was inferior to you in every way. Ning Rongrong curled her lips and suddenly said, Senior Erlong, how about you do me a favor today and pretend to be a member of our 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect? I will also go to an internal meeting, Liu Erlong said in surprise when he heard this. Your 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect is joining the Spirit Hall. Really? Your 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect is one of the top 3 sects. What will you gain by joining the Spirit Hall? I'll be saved, Ning Rongrong replied seriously. Oh. Liu Erlong's brows furrowed instantly. Putting aside the Spirit Hall's strength, the Spirit Hall now had a powerful figure, Su Chen, who was also knowledgeable about the plot. The fate of the Spirit Hall was definitely about to be rewritten. Even a major sect like the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect wouldn't fare well if it didn't side with the Spirit Hall. Liu Erlong muttered, if that's the case, then I can't support you. I have to represent the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, Ning Rongrong said cheerfully. Senior Erlong, I can represent the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect and convince my father, but you can't represent the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. As the two chatted, Su Chen, along with Liena and the other 3, emerged from the room after finishing their breakfast. What breakfast? Breakfast, of course, consisted of a sausage and 2 eggs. Normally, Su Chen would have been a bit overwhelmed, but Alice, Liena, Douyan, Zhu Zhuqing, and Yilingling all showed up at the same time. 4 people eating breakfast together. Su Chen couldn't handle it. 1 sausage and 2 eggs for breakfast, clearly, it wasn't enough for 4 people. So, Su Chen quickly came out. Although he was being fussy, he couldn't be fussy. Anyway, the 4 of them teamed up and finished their breakfast quickly, and Su Chen surrendered not long after. Liu Erlong and Ning Rongrong were still chatting, but when they saw Su Chen and his friends come out, They stopped and looked over. Hey, Su Chen saw Liu Erlong and joked, aren't you going to challenge me, Liu Erlong? Are you free today? Let's have a fight. Yeah, right, you said you wanted to experience the feeling of dying and being resurrected. Want to try it? All the women on the field laughed, but Liu Erlong blushed with embarrassment and wished she could find a hole to crawl into. I'm so angry. Su Chen, you bastard, it's been a day since this happened, why are you helping me recall it again? Are you polite? Liu Erlong gritted her teeth and said, Su Chen smiled and said, how is it? Did you experience the feeling of death? Social death is also death. Although Liu Erlong has a hot temper, she really can't continue with what she is saying. She wants to say something in rebuttal, but she is powerless. Humph, Liu Erlong was also very angry. She glared at Su Chen and said, if you have the guts, let's have a competition next time. When Su Chen heard this, he was even happier and replied, that's what you said, next time if you lose again, you are not allowed to drink at the table. Sit and drink with Lifu. Liu Erlong looked puzzled and turned to look at Liena and the others and asked, who is Lifu? Xiao Wu pointed at a pastoral puppy in the distance and reminded them in a low voice, that's it, huh? Liu Erlong was instantly unhappy and said, Su Chen, you bastard, you are scolding me, you want me to drink with a dog. Ugh, okay, next time I will drink with a dog, next time, I will drink with you. Bang! Su Chen slapped Liu Erlong's plump buttocks and said, I won't talk to you today. We'll talk tomorrow when we are free. Whoever drinks too much will end up in the doghouse then, let's go out together. Su Chen walked ahead, and Liena and the others followed. Liu Erlong's face turned even redder. Damn it. I'm still a girl, and you bastard, you're so rude, hitting me right there? But then again, Liu Erlong followed the group behind, secretly observing the women. These girls were girls after all, and they didn't seem as pretty as me. Ugh. What was she focusing on? Yeah, today is another energetic day, today is a good day. My wife, Liena, will be crowned the Holy Maiden of the Spirit Hall. From now on, she'll be second only to the Emperor and above everyone else. Won't my status also rise with this? It's so frustrating. I could definitely speak with my own strength, but I'm constantly going down the path of living off my wife. Let me see what's in today's diary. Oh. Today's diary is all about Liena. This way. Liena walked beside Su Chen and, after seeing the contents of the diary, she was a little confused. That's not right. The teacher received the third award last night, so why did the teacher give it to me? Du Yuan and the others glanced at Liena, sighing inwardly. Perhaps. As Su Chen said, Bibi Dong has let down countless people in her life, but she has never let Liena down, treating her like her own daughter. For example, it's easy to imagine that Bibi Dong probably wanted to give it to Liena as a small gift on the day she was canonized as a saint. MV. Although Bibi Dong is a bit of a jerk, she's done an impeccable job as a teacher. Prince's Mansion. Qian Renxue had already suffered from insomnia last night. The more she thought about it last night, the more she felt something was amiss. This gunpowder was truly special, but how could it be used as a weapon against the enemy with just that burst of flame? How should this gunpowder be used? She was confused, unable to sleep. Now, early this morning, Qian Renxue saw Su Chen's updated diary entry and felt a wave of frustration. Even though she and Liena were sisters, she couldn't help but feel jealous, and at the same time, she deeply envied Liena. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all, see you in the next video.